Yeah. Yeah. We are live on YouTube. Lycan's muted. He disappeared his video and he muted himself.
Hey, sorry. I had to do something real quick.
He went out. Did you hear my little intro?
What was it? Do it again?
Yeah.
Oh God.
We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. Part 3. Nice. Part 3 of the Stu Myth and Fantasy Busting. Once again, part 3 of the Stu Myth and Fantasy Busting.
Yes. I am Scareticulous. If you're seeing me on Top Secrets' channel, The Crime Scene, you can follow my channel for more horror movie content. I know Crime Scene guy doesn't really do a lot of that kind of content, but that's kind of the stuff. I also do, like, videos on just movies in general. So follow me for that kind of stuff. I'm also streaming this on my channel, Scareticulous. So if you want to support Top Secrets, The Crime Scene, go follow his channel. I'll post a link to his channel in my chat. And yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, apologies for the lighting here on my end. I changed absolutely nothing.
Yeah, his lighting sucks. Sorry about that, folks.
I changed nothing.
He's just not very good at this whole streaming thing.
I'm not. One thing I can do though is I can try and wait a second. Does StreamYard on here have a way to change the backdrop? Because I'm on it looks like I'm on night mode. But yes, I'm always on night mode.
Yes, it does. There is a way. You go to the gear icon, and then you go to visual effects, and then there's a whole suite of filters and background
that's what
things.
I was working on before. I just meant the actual StreamYard website, the background, because it's all black for me. If I could switch it to white, that would lighten everything up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna ask.
It's kind of a limited thing, feature they have.
But it's there. Change the background color off of night mode in StreamYard?
Just StreamYard's background from night mode to a light mode. Adjust the appearance settings in the StreamYard login dashboard or within your broadcast studio.
You know what? Fuck it. I don't know where to find it. I don't see it anywhere. If someone knows, type it in the chat. Anyway, we are here ready to go. Let's check a look at the comments here. Well, Rockets Kitty is already here, and she said that we can start now because she
Rockets Kitty.
Yeah, welcome. Rockets Kitty, you slacked on part 2. You were MIA, but we're glad you're here now.
Yes, welcome.
Taco says, "Hey everyone." This is, I believe, she one of your crew, I believe so.
Yeah, Taco's from my community, my little group.
Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog is
that MJ?
That's MJ, the guy from our panel the other day.
Let me see.
Hope you enjoyed your vacation, Rockets Kitty.
Oh, is that where she was at?
I guess so.
Well,
she went to her dildo convention, I guess.
That's brutal. That's brutal. I did send out invites. I tagged some people on Twitter. The best way I can handle this, I just can't see us talking. I can't see your facial expression. Maybe, you know what? There we go. I can see you now. I can't see me. Has my lighting increased a little bit? That white on the screen now.
Yeah, it looks better.
I can increase it slightly more.
Nothing's going to make you better looking, though. I mean,
right.
That's fixed.
The more white I get on the screen, the more the lighting is going to
improve. We need to know you're a white guy, just so people don't get scared off.
Oh, boy. Let me see. Let me see here. Oh, there it goes. As soon as I click off.
If you look like you're in shadow like that, people get scared.
I don't know what happened here. It's disappointing. So... But the end of last stream 3 weeks ago, we didn't have as much time to talk about the whole thing with the sheriff, right? The
Yeah.
whole thing with the sheriff. We
Burke,
were talking about it. Yeah, Sheriff Burke, the corrupt, gambling, debt-ridden, terrible sheriff of Woodsboro, who, in order to pay off his gambling debts, had to invent a fake body because he knew Stu was going to get crushed under the TV, and he had to have the body and show up at the crime scene and swap the body out in order to clear his gambling debts. That was
Where did they get this stuff? Are there like some scenes that I'm not aware or I don't remember from that first movie? Like I feel like this is one of those what's it called when like people remember things that
Mandela,
like a Mandela effect kind of thing. Like what is this? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it is like fan fiction. You know, that's the thing. Years ago, I remember coming on the internet and there was fan fiction everywhere. And guess what? We called it fan fiction and we were okay with that. But now with the Scream fan base, they do all the markers of fan fiction, but they want to think like this is actually reality.
Well, it's the perverted theorizing, right?
Like, I'd be fine if they made a story like, hey, this is my fan fiction of Scream 1. Sheriff Burke, he cleaned up the body of Stu Macher and he hid him away. And I'd be fine with that. But they're acting like this shit is real. And I'm like, come on.
They discard, and we were talking about this. I think I sent a comment. I'm going to open up the opening folder here. What I got. So
okay. Exactly, Rockets Kitty.
I'll pull it up here in a sec. I saw her. I think I saw her comment there. The fan fiction, yeah. So let me see here. Okay, so there's been some developments since over the last 3 weeks since the last time we were here. Number one, and you made a great video on this, and obviously people on your channel can already see it. If you go to Scareticulous's channel, he has a video talking about how he and I both believe that Kevin Williamson and Matthew Lillard are both full of shit. The development has come out over the last 3 weeks where Matthew Lillard has now said that Stu was watching television as opposed to closing a laptop. And 3 weeks ago on the stream, I played the clip of Kevin Williamson talking about Stu closing a laptop. So their stories are now conflicting. And go ahead, tell them about this.
I mean, basically, you said it. I mean, you know, Kevin Williamson, he says he shot a coda, which is the short little piece of, you know, film at the end where that's supposed to kind of like be like a little stinger that takes like 10 seconds or whatever. And it was supposed to be Stu closing his laptop, and then he'd see like his face like in the reflection or something like that. And then he would be like, I don't know, laughing or whatever. And that was supposed to be it. But then they cut it because of test audiences, whatever. Then Matthew Lillard tells a similar story, but then he says it was a TV, and he says this twice in the same explanation. He says TV. So if he misspoke twice in the same explanation. So, I mean, I can understand how someone might misunderstand the difference between a laptop and a TV because they both have screens, you know, but then you just say screen, you know, or something like that I can understand, like monitor, like maybe close the monitor, you know, monitor TV, like from afar, they look similar, right? Like a monitor for a computer looks similar to a TV, but they're clearly not the same thing. And Matthew Lillard, I mean, he seemed pretty adamant that it was a TV. So, and he was watching TV. He wasn't on his laptop in the explanation. He was watching TV. So if you don't say you're watching your laptop, right? You say that you're on your laptop, you're working at your laptop, you're typing at your laptop. But he clearly said he was watching TV, which is very different from sitting at a laptop. So, and they supposedly filmed this coda, right? It wasn't something they just thought of. It's something they actually filmed. So if they filmed it, they would both know if it was either a TV or a laptop.
Give me one.
Here's something possible. Maybe they shot both instances. Possibly. I'm just being objective here. Maybe they shot one with a TV and one with a laptop. But as far as we know, there's just an inconsistency in the explanation there.
Okay. Sorry about that. I wasn't meaning to cut you off before. I
That's all
was
right.
fidgeting. I got myself fixed. I went to the.
Good, you
You can
got
change
fixed
the
finally?
night mode. You can get rid of the night
it?
mode, but you couldn't do it in here. I had to go back to the StreamYard home. But I still had it loaded, so I changed it to night mode,
Still
and
loaded.
I had to put myself in here again and then close out the other browser. So you were like echoing on my browser, and I didn't know if it was coming through on that.
It sounded fine for me. Did it sound fine for everyone else?
It probably did. It was probably just on my end because I had two browsers open. So it was
Hey,
doubling.
Gloria. Hey, Rockets Kitty, MJ. Like the stream. Subscribe to Mr. Kretz's channel. You know, all that shit.
Tell us more. Yeah, my apologies for that. Yeah, we got it fixed now. My lighting is good. Yeah, I never even thought about the night mode or whatnot. But yeah, that's a complete
Night
fix.
mode.
I don't know why you can't change it in here. I don't know why there's not a display button in here to get rid of night mode. You have to do it from the actual studio before you open this. Oh yeah, so basically that's one thing that happened. Then we got into it over our buddy from 3 weeks ago, who is not here right now apparently. And you know what? What I'm going to do? I tagged
Wolfman with no nards.
I tagged him on. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to bait him right now. I'm going to go to one of his videos and I'm going to leave a comment. I already tagged him on Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to mute the volume on this. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go to his newest video. I'm going to leave a comment. And I'm going to see if we can get him back in here.
All right.
I forgot to bait him before.
You forgot to bait him. You have to bait him properly.
Come on in.
Bait him off. Bait him on. You got to bait him hard.
Come on, Panelberry. Come on in. I just left it.
My body.
We'll see. We'll see if he
Body.
gets.
There he is.
He's
there
here.
He is.
He's already here.
He's already here.
He was here before I left the comment.
Wow, that was quick.
Wow.
Wow.
Which proves he was already here.
He loves you. He loves you. He's a fan.
He is a fan. One of the reasons I left this. Okay, so what I'm going to do. You shouldn't have any issues.
Hello, my name's Body.
I just disabled the guest destination thing, which does not affect someone that's already broadcasting, as far as I know.
Love the content, Barry.
If somebody else,
love the content. Big fan.
if somebody else comes up, they won't be able to broad. Barry, you have the link on X. I tagged you in it. I tagged Sister Pam in it as well. You both have the StreamYard link.
Oh, she's definitely coming up here.
Huh?
She's definitely coming up here.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
I hope she does. Like, I mean, listen, and I think these people think that there's like malicious intent here, that I dislike them or something, or that I don't want to speak with them just because we poke fun, right? And again, they put this content out there. Just because we're having fun does not mean we are attempting to bully them or I mean that's not what we're doing.
Can I posit a theory here?
Sure.
I think these people just don't want to argue about like what they think or believe. Like there's some people who just don't like arguing about stuff. They just want to believe what they believe, which is fine.
Here's what I will say about this. That could be partially true, and I would extend on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I would say one of the reasons they don't want to face somebody that has a difference of opinion is possibly because, I mean, listen, I don't think a lot of these people are like, in the one comment she left, she said that I'm accusing all of them of being low IQ. I do not think she is low IQ at all. I don't think.
I don't think a lot of these people are low IQ. I
No,
think possibly they don't want their ideas challenged.
they don't.
Which is, you know, some people, they just want to think what they think and that's fine. I just think if you're going to come out here and toss ideas out and challenge the status quo and put out your ideas, you should be open to other people's ideas. That's kind of how I see it.
Yes.
I mean, I've been wrong a million times when it comes to the Scream community. Like, I've come out with a bunch of stuff that's not true, but that, you know, that just means I learn then. You know, I learn to go back and forth with people and learn further. You know, I wouldn't want to argue with someone on something if I don't feel confident in what I believe. That's true.
Bang! She nailed it. That's what I was exactly going to get to.
That's a truth bomb right there.
That is what most of it is. They do not want. She does not want me to question her about this stuff, because if I do, she's going to have to really take a hard look at what I'm asking. And again, she's not a low IQ person. She knows that she knows in her gut that this stuff isn't real. I know she. No,
this is why I didn't go hard on her at all. Like when I heard her Scream 7 review, I was like, she knows Stu's dead, and all this stuff is bullshit. You can tell just by listening to her. She thought all the Stu Clues were nonsense, and that all this stuff was leading up to nothing, and it was very disappointing because the creators of this franchise, they're just teasing y'all the whole time. And she sounded like bitter almost in that review, but I admired the honesty. And she wasn't just saying like, well, Stu's still alive and I believe in Scream 8 is going to finally, no, she was like, no, this sucked. Like, this was just awful. And, you know, I was like, all right, I agree. I agree with that. Like,
I played the clip. I played the one clip from that video. I don't know if it was part 1 or part 2. I played the clip, and remember, it was where she was saying, like, you know, she was so down. Like, one guy, that dead ghost guy, was in her stream, and she was like, I hope so, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Like, you could tell she's defeated.
Yes.
But then she comes back a little while later, and here's the thing. I've seen this. I looked at some of the comment sections on her videos lately, and there are people in there that are like, you know, this whole thing about Stu being alive gives me hope. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep making these because it makes me feel good. Essentially, that's so weird. Like, I don't know why you need the thought of a dead killer from 30 years ago being alive to make you feel good.
Some people are just a really big fan. I don't even know if it's necessarily of Stu Macher. I think it's Matthew Lillard specifically that makes these people kind of obsessed with his performance, and probably him as an actor. I think they talk about Stu, but I'm sorry, I don't think that character from that movie warrants this much of a fan base. Maybe Matthew Lillard as an actor and his performances over the years, I can understand that, you know, and him as a person and the way he interacts with his fan base, I can understand that. But that particular performance, I don't understand the obsession.
Yeah, it is.
If they were all Matthew Lillard fans and they just said it like that, I'd be like, okay, you like Matthew Lillard. I get it. You know?
So I think I sent you this guy's channel.
That would make more sense to me, at least. Because look, if Stu Macher, let's say it was a completely different movie, not Scream, okay? And Stu Macher, whatever, or some other character that Matthew Lillard plays was like the serial killer of that movie, the star, right? And it was this amazingly popular movie, and it was awesome. Like, I'm talking like Jurassic Park level, or, you know, something like that. It's really off the charts, like popular. I can understand the obsession over a character like that was the star of the movie and had all this depth and, you know, backstory and like this the magnetic character. But Stu in that movie was just another character. Yes, he was one of the ghost faces, but he wasn't the star of the movie. That was Sidney Prescott or Nev Campbell. That was the star. And then you had Billy, and then Stu was there, but what was he in, like a fourth of the movie? Like, not even like much.
He's in a decent amount. He's in as much as anybody else, but we talked about this
more than Billy.
They have transformed him into Billy. Not just tried
it's
to make
weird.
not only
Billy's
the main,
supposed to be the main antagonist in that movie, and Stu is the secondary one.
they have not only tried to make him the main character, then they tried to do this whole thing where it's like him and Sydney have unfinished business because he said, "I always had a thing for you, Sid." Like somehow they like it means something for them to have a showdown. Like they have this past or something, which I'm sorry. And I'll bring this up because we talked about, obviously we've done our like Scream 7 change, how we would change it and shit like that. But I saw a comment somewhere on Facebook recently where somebody said, what would have made more sense is if, because you talked about this once, you said that, having Stu on those FaceTime calls with Sydney, you can tell he's just been forced into the plot, right? Those characters had no real reason to bring Stu into this other than for fan service, right? Breaking the fourth wall fan service for the viewers who were begging for Matthew Lillard. In the movie, it doesn't make much sense for Jessica and Marco to be bringing in Stu, right? It doesn't make it that much sense. Someone I saw on Facebook was like, you know what would have made sense? If instead of Stu, if that was Rose McGowan on the video calls, the original Tatum, right? If they were really trying to fuck with Sydney,
that would have been an interesting
dead best friend.
And I'll say this, that would have lived up to the whole we're going back to the beginning, Woodsboro, like that would have made sense in that respect, what they were building up to. And it would have been shocking, wouldn't it?
Well, because I heard our Rage buddy one time, I think I have a recording of him saying it, that the whole point of Scream 7 that they weren't trying to convince Sydney that Stu was the killer. They were just trying to do psychological warfare. Now, we know that's bullshit. They were trying to convince everyone Stu was the killer, albeit a terrible job at doing so. But if they were just doing psychological warfare, the original Tatum would have been the number one person to try and get inside of Sydney's head.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could have been interesting to see.
That would have been interesting. But here's what would have been better. And this would please the Stu fans. If she comes out, right? And then everyone's shocked, like, oh my God, she's been alive this whole time. Then what happened? Didn't you die? Like, and then Stu comes out of the shadows and everyone's like, oh, because then it would have been something they planned on the side to fuck with Sydney, because secretly Rose McGowan's character hated Sydney because of whatever they wanted to.
But you're saying that she would still be alive too?
She would be alive, Stu would be alive, and they planned to basically fuck with Sydney. She pretended to die just so Sydney would go through all this trauma and whatever and send her down a path that would lead her inexorably back to the beginning. Now, that would have been interesting.
Now that's some fan fiction, right?
That's the fan. So can I address what Barry said in the chat here?
Coming up, yeah.
Because here's the problem I have with your comment here, Nards, is it's fine if you want to say it's fan fiction and say, like, it would be cool if this happened, or I think maybe it could be that this happened, or like it would be cool if Stu was whatever. But there's so many people that are so adamant about this being a fact, like that all these Stu clues are real and that Stu is secretly alive in the background, and it veers away from fan fiction into like revisionist like movie history. Like now we're seriously trying to rewrite the films to suit our narrative, and this is how the next movie is going to go because we think this way. Like that's not fan fiction anymore. Now it's like the fans are almost adopting the franchise or stealing it practically for themselves and saying, no, this is what's happening in the movie. This is what they're doing in the movie. This is what's going to happen in the sequel. It's so much more arrogant than fan fiction, because fan fiction is literally just, hey, I'm going to write this cool story based off of the thing I like. Obviously it's not the thing I like, but it's based off the thing I like, right? Everyone is kind of an acknowledgement about fan fiction being what it is, whereas Scream fans or Stu whatever they're called, Stoopers, they seem to to think in this way where they think that their ideas about Stu are reality in the films and even in the sequels that are yet to come, which is totally different. You have to understand how they're different, right?
Barry, can you please present one video, one line of dialogue, one piece of evidence from Pam's videos where she stops and says, just so you guys know, this is all fan fiction. I don't believe any of this. Can you please present that, Barry? Because I'm sorry, but she has never said this is fan fiction. Not that I have seen.
I mean, I can.
If you can
I'm
find
thinking
that.
back to like her Stu Clues videos, and it's like she has said things like, you know, it could be this happened or it could be that. I'm like, okay, but you're still kind of talking about it within the context of what happened in the movies. You're no longer writing fan fiction. Hey, honey bunch, my love, welcome. You're no longer writing a separate story that's an offshoot of a real thing. Now you're trying to revise the thing that's already out and say, no, this is what happened. Right?
Again, I've watched these videos. There's no disclaimer on these videos. She does not say, guys, this is not going to happen. We've played the clips. Mm-hmm. She made, before Scream 7 came out, she was selling the t-shirts and said, wear this to the movie so you can prove you were right. You knew ahead of time he was alive.
Yeah.
Like, those Stu Clues they're not a parody. It's not satire. It's not scary.
It's not fan fiction. Again, if they just want to believe that, you know, I think maybe Stu is alive. I don't know. It seems like there's a way for them to bring him back. I'd be fine with that. But the way they like really try to look deeply into every one of the movies and prove how he's alive in every single one, like that's ridiculous at that point. It's like, it's one thing to theorize about it, like a dead character coming back to a future movie. Like, hey, are they going to bring this person back? Are they going to bring this person? I don't know. Maybe. But that goes for any character, right?
Well, and we talked about this before. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow, there is a button right on here for the light mode and it's general. It's in general in settings, just the very first one. Son of a bitch.
What are you looking at? Are you looking at StreamYard?
Yeah, no, right here in our actual StreamYard panel, if you click the settings button, it's right there on general, the appearance.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in fucking general. I had to go anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was looking at the settings because I wanted to make sure that when I put when I add a video, it doesn't play.
All right, moving on.
Do you know where that is? If you upload a video, it doesn't play automatically.
Dude, I'm not tech support.
Yeah.
Let's continue the stream. People are getting bored.
Are you gonna yell at me on my own stream for being bored?
On your own stream.
Okay, well, maybe it won't play automatically. I hope it does. Hold on a second. You're gonna be listen, this is just for fun. And again, Pam, we want you to come on here. We want to ask questions. We want you to ask us questions. Again, this is great content. And I told her this. I sent her another nice email. She said that she didn't get the first one I sent back in November. I sent a reply comment. I sent a message on X.
I don't think she has any interest in discussing this stuff on panels, at least not with you.
I thought you said she was coming on earlier.
I lied.
Yeah. Hey,
I lied to you.
Okay. So
why do you trust me?
I don't, and you're gonna love this. You're gonna want to take this again. This is just for fun. It's just for kicks. You ready?
Yeah.
Not giving up. There are some clues to talk about. I feel like there could still be a possibility, but
no, they scammed you. See, they tricked your ass.
No, they scammed.
They tricked your ass. No. Whoops. I took you off stage.
I
kicked you off instead of that.
You kicked me off.
Your face was on both of them.
You fool. No, they scammed you. They tricked your ass.
Well,
that's so good.
Here's the short version.
Scammed you. See, they tricked your ass.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, look. uh, uh, no, I mean, look, they're invited, and again, that they don't want to. That's fine. But here's the thing.
Wolfman, can I just say it's not people's wording. That's forgivable. It's people's attitudes. That's the difference.
Well, but what he said, that she said it's fan fiction. She has never said it's fan fiction. That's inaccurate.
I haven't watched enough of her videos to claim either way.
There would have to be a disclaimer. Like if there was a disclaimer, and like let's say she was herself in the disclaimer and said, God, essentially, like if it was a parody channel, right? Like if I made a Stu Clues channel and the whole thing was like, this is a joke, I don't believe any of this shit, but I'm going to pretend like I do, right? If there was
you got to think about it from her perspective, okay? She is a prominent Scream content creator, okay, who religiously makes Scream content. She's one of those founding fathers of that little community, and she has a lot of clout and respect around there, and specifically for the Stu Macher theories. And I think at some point what we want to be the truth or to be the case eventually becomes now it is the case. You know, we want it so bad that it is now the reality. So she might have said at one point, you know, it would be cool if Stu Macher was still alive. I think these theories, you know, this thing happening in Scream 5 and, you know, 6, it kind of seems like he might still be alive. And people are like, no, he's still alive. I believe he's still. And there's like hundreds of people in droves coming in saying he's still alive. He's still alive. He's still alive. Now she's like, yeah, he is still alive. Yeah. You know, and now she has to live up to that idea of Stu being alive and promote it every time. It's like this expectation placed on her to keep that dream alive, that Stu was alive. Which is why I respected the Scream 7 review that she did, because she wasn't all like, you know, hopeful about Stu coming back for Scream 8. She's like, I don't know, I think they're just cowards and they're jerking us around. You know, like, oh, I agree. They are jerking you around. And it's because they want to keep poking at the Stu fan base to get you guys coming to see the movies, but they're not going to break franchise lore to do it. They're not going to bring him back for that reason, because Wes Craven, you know, he's dead in that first movie. So they're not going to break what he did just to please the Stu fans.
So this is from Barry's video. She says, I still believe Stu is alive.
Yeah, she can say, and that's an interesting statement to make, honestly, because it says to me that she, in some imaginary universe in her head that she's concocted for the Scream franchise, is not canon, right? Like the real movies. I'm sorry, the real movies that came out are not canon. The Scream that she has in her head is canon. So Scream 7 that happened with Stu not coming out at the end, it doesn't exist to her. She's basically written it off. Like that didn't happen. In her head, there's another Scream movie that happened where Stu is alive at the end, and she's almost like balking at, you know, Scream 7's existence. She doesn't believe it's the real narrative. Because for her to say I still believe Stu was alive, that would mean you would have to ignore the events of Scream 7. Correct?
Right. In her defense, I know what you're saying about this, about people's head canon, if you will, and them deleting the real movies in favor of fake stuff. There are people doing that. I don't think she's one of them. I think she's stuck. She's caught. This is the problem when you invest your time and your energy into something that was built on a house of cards. Right. Mm-hmm. For 3 years, she's been talking about this thing it was essentially, it's the same thing. This is a fitting example. I don't know how familiar you are with any of this stuff. There was a religious cult leader type guy back about 20 years ago, this old man in San Francisco, who was predicting, you know, the end of the world in May of 2011. It was all over the radio. Mm-hmm. One of them radio stations, even in my area, which is very far away from where he was at, there was billboards. There was a person with a wrapped vehicle with the shit on it, like a moving billboard, right?
Yeah.
Or people were building to this. You know, they invested. He made the declaration. He made the investment. There's no turning back, right? And their judgment day, if you will, was February 27th of 2026, the day. And again, whether it's Jesus coming back or Stu coming back, it's the same thing, right? They put this return date on their Messiah, if you will, right? They did it. They put a return date on him, and it didn't pay off. And then what do you do? Well, I'll tell you what happened with that guy. He then moved the date 6 months later. It didn't happen. And then he was like 90 years old and he died really quick after that. That's what happened with him.
Do you think a lot of this stuff is just garden variety delusion based on religious dogma? Like they're just dogmatically believing Stu is alive in this almost religious capacity where he is like their Messiah and he will come back to save them one day.
I'm not saying they worship Stu. I'm saying that
don't they though?
The parallels are obvious. Like you can see them.
Yeah. But I think the dynamic is very similar. Like, and they keep pushing off the date of, you know, him returning. Like, oh, he'll be back in Scream 5. He'll be back in Scream 6. He'll be back in Scream 7. They all said he was coming back in Scream 7, did they not?
Yes.
And now he's really coming back in Scream 8. No, you can't keep playing this game. You're going to keep playing that game with yourself for years and years to come. At some point, you got to give yourself a cutoff date, right? Where it's like, okay, it's done.
Billboard guy. Well,
and Scream 7 does not confirm the opposite of Stu being dead. That's Stuentology. It doesn't confirm the opposite. It confirms that he's dead. What are you talking about?
What is it? Are you talking about Barry?
Barry is literally just stealing from what Matthew Lillard said in that one speech he did, where he's like, you know, Scream 7 actually, it left a lot of, you know, room open for Stu actually coming back. It made more reasons for him actually being alive than dead.
I believe you're referring to this. Yeah, I believe you're referring to this right here.
Didn't highlight it yet.
We ready?
Of course, the door is still left open for Stu Macher's return, even more so now than there ever was before. With all the clues that we got in Scream 7, yes, some people in the movie were saying, no, he's dead, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't really think it was Stu. Because that'd be dumb. Stu's dead.
They still haven't confirmed that. And there's good reason that they haven't said in any of the Scream movies, Stu Macher is dead.
Because that'd be dumb. Stu's dead.
We saw his body. We saw him being buried. Nobody has ever said that.
No, there was a dead body. It was taken to the morgue and then buried. Can't fake that.
If this is Stu...
It's not Stu. It's not. He is buried in Woodsboro.
Barry, what the fuck are you talking about? Barry, would you like to defend this? Because the movies literally just said everything you said they didn't say. I mean,
okay.
Let's come on panel, Barry.
Can we bring this back to basics a little bit? Let's argue this logically, okay? Someone makes a claim, right? Is it now on the person who, let's say if I said Top Secrets is you know, he wears panties in his spare time. You know, I made the claim. Okay. Is it now on Mr. Kretz to prove that he doesn't wear panties? No, right? It's on me to prove that he wears panties in his spare time. I can't just make a claim with no proof, right? I have to show the proof. I have to show Mr. Kretz full on panties for people to take me seriously, right?
I can represent myself pro se.
I can't. I can't just say it and then it like just everyone believes it, or they could believe it. That's their choice if they want to believe it, but it doesn't make it true until I prove it. A claim needs proof. So if you're going to make the claim that Stu Macher is alive and that this movie, you know, kept the door open for Stu being alive, you need to prove that. You can't just say it without any proof. What's your proof that Stu is alive. If anything, this movie more than ever proved that he was dead, especially when you take into account the behind the scenes stuff with Kevin Williamson talking to Matthew Lillard at the fucking party, where he's like, you know, Stu's dead and he's never going to come back, but I'm going to tell Matthew Lillard he got the part in the movie because now he's AI, because that's how, what's her name? Drew something or other. What's the writer? I forgot the writer of these movies.
Busick.
Gary Busick. Not Drew.
Gary Busick.
Gary Busick.
I want to see Gary Busick.
Specifically, and what was that, Vanderbilt or whatever? Whoever the fuck, whatever. The writing team of Scream 7 specifically wrote in Stu Macher with the AI in mind, okay? That literally is how they conceived that movie. And when they told Kevin Williamson, Kevin's like, oh, I should probably tell Matthew Lillard that he got the role in this movie because they have a role for him. But I can't tell him that Stu's alive because he's dead. But now I can tell him because now we have a situation where it's obvious that he's dead, but now we can play with the idea of him being alive with the whole AI thing, right? And so when you take that into consideration and the fact that this whole movie was promoted and marketed to try to appeal and tease the Stu fans from the very beginning, where he says this is going to be fun, and then you had these little clips in the other trailer where he says, hello Sydney, like all this stuff.
It's gonna be
and
fun.
Throughout that whole movie, it's literally just teasing you guys that he is alive, only for them to reveal at the end that he's not. The ending of the Scream movies is the most important part that you guys are not paying attention to. Okay? That's when the truth gets revealed. That's the rule of Scream movies. The truth gets revealed at the end of the movie. Whether you want to like it or not, that's the truth. So once the masks come off, you have to accept that everything these killers are saying is truth, because the whole movie has been a lie. That's literally the format of these Scream films. The whole movie is misdirection. It's red herrings. It's trying to mess with your head until the very final reveal. Once that reveal happens, you have to accept the truth that was laid out before you the whole movie.
There's one caveat to that.
Yeah.
And that would be, I did not put this picture up last time. In the previous stream, we talked about Stu being gay. And one thing I did not mention, you just said that the truth comes out in the final act, right?
Yeah.
There's one caveat with that, and that is in the original Scream, when Billy tells his motive to Sydney after she finally gets it out, and when he finally cracks and tells her about his mother and or his father and Sydney's mother. When he tells her that, and you see that look of shock on Sydney's face, you also see that same exact look of shock on Stu's face. The camera cuts to Stu specifically to show him completely stunned to learn for the first time that Billy's father was having an affair with Sydney's mother. He did not know. Which also makes you, and this is where his character becomes very weary of giving Billy the knife back to him, because he figured it out. As dumb as he is, he's not that dumb. See the look on this face right now, everyone at home? This is the look you make when the boy of your dreams swipes left. That's what this look is.
By the way, do you want to know the first Scream movie?
What?
Just a little aside here. Did you ever see the movie Frighteners?
Oh yeah, I love the Frighteners. Are you kidding me? I can quote most of the movie.
Good movie. So that whole movie, there's this death character that is going around killing people, right? Random people for whatever reason. They carve the number in the forehead and all that. It's clearly a death robes kind of character with the scythe. You have the whole. It's like death, right? Then we find out, no, it's actually the serial killer who died years ago as a ghost, and he's being manipulated by his still alive girlfriend. And they're the two killers at the end that get unrevealed, unmasked, and we get to see them, give their reasons for why they're killing and all that. That was the first Scream movie. before Scream was a thing. I think that was back in like 1992 or 3 or something.
That the Frighteners, I believe, came out the same year as Scream. That's a 96.
It came out earlier.
Frighteners?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
You are. It's 96. Believe it. It might be 95. Let me look.
Okay.
The Frighteners. That's dude. I can got me a score of 12, sir. That's one more than Starkweather's. Yeah, it's 96. I don't know.
Is it really?
They would have been filmed about
Later than I thought.
This came out,
Okay.
About 6 months before Scream.
So it is the first Scream. I was still right about that.
Yeah, that's Peter
That's
Jackson.
a very similar kind of. Obviously, it's more paranormal, and with ghosts and stuff. But it's a very similar dynamic in that movie.
How do you think that made Stu feel? Well, it made Stu feel like he knew he was about to get iced, right? He could tell after how Billy had stabbed him too deep, and when he figured out that he had been. This is the thing. So the reason I brought this whole thing
proves the point that he was a patsy.
He was, and the reason I brought this up was because you said the truth comes out at the end. Well, here's the thing: that whole thing where Stu says, we survived, we come back to play in the sequel. You got to have a sequel. That's all in Stu's mind.
That's in Stu's head. That's his head canon. That's his head canon for how this is all going to go. Ironically, right?
Yeah.
His enthusiasm and how he thinks this is all going to play out is all playing out in his head, and it doesn't go to plan, right? People, the Stuthers do not see the meta commentary playing out on screen there, where it's like he's so certain there's going to be a sequel of him and Billy killing people in Scream 2 and Scream 3 and all that, and that never happens, right? He gets hit with a TV and it's game over.
What I'm saying is it wasn't going to happen anyway. Billy was going to kill him in that kitchen.
Right.
That's the whole point. That's why he stabbed him like that.
And
why
he didn't trust. Clearly, he didn't trust Billy.
Once this happened, see, this was the turning point. Once he heard Billy's real motive, that's when he wouldn't give Billy the knife back. After that, that's where he realized he was fucked. That it was all, and that makes
now Stuthers out there. How can you say that this guy is some kind of mastermind when he got fooled by Billy into doing this whole thing, and he was going to be the patsy?
And this is a very interesting thing because in universe, I'm going to end up for those of you that have been watching my little short under 3 minutes horror related.
Did you drop the StreamYard link at all?
Not in here, but I gave it to Barry and on the Twitter.
Drop it in the goddamn chat.
I'll put it in here. But
that's how people grab. They just grab the link and they hop on.
I will put it in here, but
you got to make it clear that hey, this is open panel. You can hop on and argue.
Well, who's it open panel for? Like, I want it open panel for Stuthers.
Okay, well, leave it open.
I'll leave it here, and then people have to be judged.
You act like there's 100 people watching us, dude.
Yeah, there's not going to be it. Well, most people are going to watch playback if they're going to watch it. I mean,
right, which means they're not going to be grabbing links.
Right, I threw it in there.
Right.
So yeah, the reason I brought that up, he was the patsy, and the thing of it, the interesting thing, I was talking about the 3-minute short videos, and I'll probably end up doing one on this. It's very interesting to think about because we talked about the whole thing with Scream 4 3 weeks ago. In universe, like if you were to ask these characters in universe, who were, tell me about Billy and Stu, they would say Billy and Stu were partners and they were framing Neil Prescott. I believe that's the official story inside of the Scream universe, because if you remember, Gail would have been there waiting to grab the gun or grabbing the gun. She would have heard Stu say all that shit or hear Billy say that shit. She'd have heard all that. And then her camera's recording stuff, right? So, and Sydney would have said, this is what they told me. They told me they were planning on framing my dad, blah, blah. She heard it all.
Right.
But we know as the viewers, looking after meeting Roman 2 movies later and learning about all that and then rewatching the first movie, we can see that Billy was framing Stu. In universe, I don't believe they know that. And it's interesting because if you go to Scream 4, Jill thinks she is Sydney. in that role, if you will, in the little movie remake Jill is making. She believes she is Sydney, but in reality, she is actually Billy.
Yes.
She doesn't realize she's Billy. She thinks she's Sydney because she says, when she stabs and kills Charlie, that's exactly what Billy was going to do to Stu.
I think that movie is a good kind of an analysis of like Darvo dynamics in relationships. Is basically when abuser and victim switch places, right? Usually the abuser will paint themselves as a victim so that they can escape culpability. And so Jill was kind of doing that, where she's painting herself as the victim, so she gets all the accolades and the respect and praise.
We know that in the movie she's attempting to make herself the victim and be. I just mean that as far as her back knowledge goes of the storyline with Sydney, she thinks in her mind that Billy and Stu were this killer duo and they were going to frame Neil Prescott, and now she's going to step into the role of Sydney and frame Trevor and Charlie as Billy and Stu.
Right.
In reality, what she is doing by stabbing her partner to death is exactly what Billy was going to do. She's actually playing the role of Billy, but she doesn't even know it. She doesn't know that Billy was going to double cross Stu, because in that universe, that fact has never been displayed. It's never been put out there, unless after Roman told Sydney everything, Sydney went to Gale and Gale put out a revised edition of the Woodsboro, which I highly doubt. The stab movies were already made.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of that stuff is similar to like, like how did Jessica know that Stu said, I always had a thing for you, Sid. Like, and here's my explanation for that stuff is that Gail was recording everything that night with the recordings in the house, presumably picking up audio in the van. So we had all that recorded. And plus Sydney was there. She's written books. Gail's written books. Who knows what's in the contents of those books? We don't know how much information they have personally put out into the public. So we can't possibly answer the question of, well, does she know this information? Because the movie doesn't tell us that. Unless they straight up say, like, we don't know if Stu was a patsy or not. If they straight up said that, then we have confirmation that wasn't put out publicly in universe.
What I was saying is that I believe that because of Jill's actions in Scream 4, it proves that in universe they do not know Stu was a patsy.
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe Sydney or Gail wrote about that.
The only way they could know that is if after Scream 3, Sydney went to Gail and said, "Hey, Roman told me the truth about my mom, and you got to revise it." I don't think she did that. I don't think there's any evidence.
Can I just establish something with you? So, is your reasoning that she doesn't know that Billy made Stu a patsy because she was unknowingly acting the same way as Billy while trying to present herself as Sydney in the movie? Is that's your proof?
Yes. She was attempting to make herself Sydney.
I think that's more of I get your argument. I think that's more of a self-awareness issue. I don't necessarily mean that information.
Like the whole thing of Scream 4 is genius if you know all these facts and you look at it that way. A lot of the Stuthers don't believe Stu was a patsy. They really think they were.
No, it was said in the. I mean, basically communicated in that first movie and the third one. The fourth one, I think, you have to understand the mentality in that movie of Jill is almost like this satirical like commentary on people who perceive themselves as victims. So I don't think you should really take that as proof that of the non-existence of something in universe necessarily. Until I don't know. I think it's a shaky bit of evidence. I'm gonna turn my nose up at that evidence the same way I would a Stu clue. Hey, Morky Mom.
You want something really to turn your nose up?
I want something more provocative than that.
Yeah, turn your nose up at this.
All right.
I'm just saying, Billy Loomis accidentally had a daughter. What if Stu accidentally had a son or a daughter? Channing Tatum's character accidentally fell in love. What if Stu accidentally fell in love?
So we're now talking about Stu out in the wild for 30 years, falling in love, which, unless he fell in love with a guy, that's not the case. But then we have this, and this is a Sistapam theory. I didn't play this 3 weeks ago, but this was prior to Sam and Tara leaving Scream 7, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, before they departed. This is a theory.
Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I believe Stu Macher is alive and is going to return in Scream 7 and be revealed to be leading a cult of ghost faces. I believe that Stu Macher is Tara's dad. I know that sounds crazy, but just hear me out. So I believe that Christina has a thing for the dark side. She had a thing for Billy Loomis, who was a serial killer. And if she loves the stab movies, I think that a part of her is like nostalgic for her past. And if Stu's alive, like I fully believe he is, I could see Christina hooking up with Stu and dating Stu. Now, like I said, I believe Stu is leading a cult of ghost faces. There are plenty of clues that point towards this. I think that Christina has been helping Stu in hiding for all these years, because where is she? Christina's been gone for Scream 5 and Scream 6. Doesn't even come home when both her daughters are attacked. And look at this text that Tara sends Amber. It says, "I think this is my mom's new boyfriend." So is that another clue that this ghost face on the phone is Christina's boyfriend, aka Stu Macher?
So is Stu her new boyfriend or been her boyfriend for 30 years? I'm trying to figure this out. And the thought of Stu dating, I mean, this is
just casually dating around. He
like,
went on
he's on the local app
or something
in Woodsboro. Like he's got
like some kind of serial killer dating app in Woodsboro.
I mean, this is like, I mean,
is it called like Slash for Gash or something?
Terribly timed comment, Barry.
I think we need to come up with a serial killer dating app for this theory.
Terribly timed comment, Bear.
What?
Bad timing, Barry.
How? Name one of Mr. Kretz's crazy theories. Just one. I want to hear what he thinks the craziest theory Mr. Kretz has.
And he's going. Well, he said that 3 weeks ago. He's going to say when I said that Ghostface is a supernatural entity. As I backed it up with evidence after evidence after evidence from the film. And you know what? I have another piece of evidence for that I want to pull up. You know how one of their biggest things is how the women, Jessica, Quinn, Amber, these thinner, weaker, or tiny women being Ghostface, killing people aggressively, violently, how that's completely crazy, right? It has to be Stu. First thing, just so everyone knows, Matthew Lillard is not exactly a strong man. He's tall.
That's the other thing I don't like about these Stu Macher, Stuther theories, is that they straight up deny the events of the movie and even what the creators have said about the movies. They literally say, ignore the discrepancies in the body height and weight and all that. Ignore all that stuff. They literally told y'all to ignore that stuff, right? But you guys keep pointing it out like, well, Amber is not nearly tall enough and strong enough to be lifting Dewey up off the ground. Like, it doesn't matter. That's who it was. That's who it was revealed to be. And that's what the filmmaker said it was. So are you literally trying to deny the official explanation for what things happen in the movies?
Yes,
this is not something where you're exploiting a little loophole or a little gap of information. You're straight up denying what the filmmakers have said to be the case, which means you can also deny the whole coda ending that Kevin Williamson and Matthew Lillard says exist. So what are you going to do? Are you picking and choosing which bits of information are real or not? You can't do that. Either it's all real or it's not. Which one is lying? Which one is giving us, inaccurate information? And Mr. Kretz is what we call,
Barry's
the crime
cute.
scene guy here because he comes on panel and calls himself Topsy Kretz.
So that's been my name on my channel.
Mr. Kretz or Mr. K, either way, that's what we call him.
Mr.
So get up
40
to speed. Come on, Wolfman. Thought you got nards.
Yeah, MJ says that's sexist. And you know what? Here's the thing. So that is sexist.
It is sexist.
There's something else I need to say about this. Again, Matthew Lillard has always been known kind of as a dork character, right?
Yeah.
Hackers, SLC punk.
He's tall, but he's lanky as fuck. He ain't no
tall,
fucking strong man.
He's kind of gangly, like Jim Carrey,
gangly.
right? This is not a power lifter, right? This is a 6 foot.
They act like Stu is like a tank or something.
Yeah.
It's like
This
dude's a little tall, but he's not
6
exactly a
foot
powerhouse.
Bean, right? String bean,
right?
And here's the thing. So we're gonna talk about the tiny little women, the weak women. I've got something else to propose to you that I've never heard anyone talk about.
Cool.
This is a photo of Sister Pam with a few actresses from Scream 4 and an actor from Scream 4. That is massive 5'6" Rory Culkin, aka Charlie Walker, who is the main ghost face in Scream 4. The main killer, standing next to apparently 5'2" Pam and 5'2" Emma Roberts. Pam might be 5'3", right?
Yeah.
We have 5'6"
You're pretty short.
Rory Culkin is the 6 foot plus tall ghost face in Scream 4, mutilating people.
Yeah, I mean, I think they think because he's a man that makes him more of a dominating presence, but
or they don't know how small he is.
That could be too. It could be the framing of the.
They don't realize how little this guy.
They also frame things differently when they shoot a movie. They sometimes shoot people looking taller or shorter, and
In case everyone is curious, Nev Campbell is taller than him. Just in case anyone's curious.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
Thank
it's
you,
not
Carson.
just.
And thank you, Morky Mom, for the jewels you sent earlier. That was nice.
Did I just call Charlie the main? As far as the physical ghost face presence killing people, yes, Charlie is the main ghost face in Scream 4. Absolutely.
Well, I think we need to put constraints on what we mean by main, because Billy is the main ghost face in Scream 1, meaning he's the mastermind. But what you're saying is that he's racked up the most kills in Scream 4.
He was primarily the person behind the mask doing the kills.
Right. So, but that doesn't mean he was the mastermind. It just means he was the most prevalent.
I never said he was a mastermind. Is Barry trying to say?
Yeah. I think that's what he's trying to twist your words.
He's a professional troll. I'm not. I mean, I know what Barry's up to. Notice he has the panel link, but he won't come on.
Wolfman's got Nard says, but there's no confirmation on who killed who, so no, that's just another theory of yours. But again, that's cool. Barry, didn't you make a video on who killed who in Scream 7? How do you know who killed who? I mean, you just pull shit out of your ass.
Okay, so here's what I do know.
Right?
I do know that while Jill is getting attacked on camera and her arm slashed by Charlie or Ghostface, that Ghostface is considerably bigger than Nev Campbell. So you got a problem there, Barry. You got a problem.
Yeah. He says it's a theory. Okay.
The
point is, what makes your theory any more, accurate or truthful than Kretz's theory?
I want to pull this up. So we talked about before about...
You can't argue with Mr. Kretz's theory because he says it's a theory too, right? I guess if we say it's a theory, you can't argue with us.
Yeah. Well,
that seems to be their bulletproof.
If you have a theory,
it was just a theory.
If you have a theory, your theory should line up with the evidence in the film, and you should be able to articulate it in a proper way where it doesn't have more holes than Swiss cheese.
Correct.
That's the way you should be able to. So I think I started to mention this earlier. I believe I sent you this guy's channel.
Here's what I think about the Scream movies. Okay. in terms of who killed who, it is literally the same question as asking, oh, this one had to kill this person because they're taller or because they're a man. It's literally the same thing as that. So when you're trying to figure it out, who killed who, you're literally going against what the filmmakers have designed the films to be like. Unless the killer literally says, I killed this person, you have to basically act like it could have been either of them. You literally have to ignore logic, ignore the facts of height and gender and all that shit, and just say it could have been any of them. Any of the people who unmasked at the end, it could have been either. That, I'm sorry, and that might be unsatisfying to hear, but that's the canon of the movies. That's literally how this series works.
There can be some hints and clues. As an example, the opening scene of Scream, it is the general consensus amongst most people is that Stu was the one who gutted Steve on the porch, initially got hit by Casey, and then it was Billy who jumped out and grabbed her, and Billy is the one who killed her. That he was the one when she pulled the mask off, why she looked so stunned, because she knew him, but she wouldn't suspect him. He wasn't her ex-boyfriend. There are subtle things like that where you can kind of draw the conclusion. Most people think it was Billy on the phone with Casey because he's smarter.
Like I said, you're free to theorize all you like. It's, if you want to, I think that's also what makes these movies interesting, is that it opens up the debate of like, oh, could it have been this person? Could it have been, and you get to talk about it, right? And it's a fun discussion. That's fine. Then you can talk about it. It doesn't need to be like this huge argumentative, like, no, you're an asshole because, it was Stu and not Billy. Like, it doesn't need to turn into that, because guess what? You're never going to know either way. That's how the movies were designed. There's no like secret treasure we're all going to find, like, ooh, I found it. This proves it was Stu all along. Like, you're never going to find that magical piece of information, because the movies are designed to be obscure, for you to never find that information.
I sent you this. I'm just going to pull this up very briefly. This was this YouTube creator who is obsessed with Stu being alive, but he is also obsessed with the Jurassic Park 3 dinosaur coming
Here's
back.
The other thing also, I want to, before you get into that, I want to discuss something. Okay. Does anyone notice in all these Scream movies, whenever Sidney talks to Ghostface, not whoever the killer is unmasked, to Ghostface, it's always to Roger Jackson, right? And she acts like it's the same Ghostface every time. Does anyone notice that?
Are you adding to my theory?
Well, I'm just noting from the films themselves that she's always talking to Ghostface, and it's always Ghostface, but obviously it's a different person under the mask the whole time, but she acts like it's the same one throughout the whole history of Ghostfaces. I would find that interesting.
That's interesting, but it's more interesting if you flip it the other way, that it seems as though the person on the phone is the same person through all the movies doing the calling.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is it's a strange thing where, like, it's almost like the way that she's written, at least in these movies, is like she is obviously aware that it's another person doing the killing this time, but she acts like it's the same person doing the killings all over again.
I'm just going to take this as you adding to my paranormal supernatural theory with more evidence. So this guy right here, he is more obsessed with the Jurassic Park 3 dinosaur returning than he is Stu returning, but he is obsessed with Stu returning. See, there's a pattern here. There is this this demand for creative control in the movies you like, I guess. This longing for the past, this I must have my favorite character back, even if it's an animal. It doesn't really matter. And I said to him in this, you can see right here, I said, there was a deleted scene where raptors ate it, right? So if Stu's deleted scene is real, is Spinosaurus dead? and he got all defensive about it for a while, and then I said, I'm not hating on your Spinosaurus, but in fairness, that is an animal, right?
Mhm.
And they could just duplicate another animal that looks just like it.
Right, it could just be another
It
Spinosaurus.
doesn't really matter if the original one is dead or not.
Well, I will say this though, they made special, like, painstaking clarity that in Jurassic World, the first movie that came out, Jurassic World, that T-Rex is the T-Rex from the first Jurassic Park with like the scars on it and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, its name is like Rexy, I think.
Okay.
And so it's literally they make sure to kind of let you know as a fan that's the same T-Rex from Jurassic Park Part 1.
Well,
so I mean, it's not like that's unprecedented in that franchise, just to let you know.
And where I went on with this with him was I said, listen, no, at the end of the third movie, the Spinosaurus was still alive, but Stu is dead. He is dead. And he said, "Oh, you're a Stu hater." I'm like, "No, I'm not hating. I'm just telling you the facts of the film." So basically, yes. Anyway, moving on. It's what do we have here? Someone needs to write that fan fiction. Yeah, and I have heard this shit about.
And then the Spinosaurus from Part 3 comes out of the shadows, and he says it was me all along.
I think they were talking about.
And then Dennis Nedry comes back from the dead too.
Drew
we didn't actually see him die, did we? We just saw him drop the can.
That's true. Oh.
He survived that attack from that dinosaur, and he came out of that car, and then he started his own Jurassic Park on another island. Hey, he's the mastermind. If you think about it, all it took was Dennis Nedry bringing Jurassic Park to its knees in one night. You're telling me he couldn't make an entire Jurassic Park on another fucking island?
Oh shit! So there's this other channel. I don't know if have you ever heard of a channel called I think it's called Screen Hollywood. It is I have several audio things saved here. One of them's called New Bullshit. Other one's called New Bullshit 2. One's called New Embarrassment. There's this channel that is supposed to be like a news outlet, yet on YouTube they seem to be dedicated towards, well, when it's related to Scream, they're dedicated towards Stu gossip, basically. And there's they actually, let me see if this is it.
The man behind the character Stu Macher.
Oh.
Stuart Macher, if that's his full name.
No, his full name's Stupid Macher. Go ahead.
He backed Kevin Williamson's claim that they did shoot an alternate ending. I told Kevin Williamson we spent the entire movie proving that Stu is alive. True.
No, they spent the whole movie trying to make you think Stu was alive, so when they pulled the mask off at the end, you'd be shocked, and you were.
True. Being scrapped, which is just, it's so annoying. Because, literally, we could be in a reality right now where we got that post-credit scene where...
Yeah, and if my grandmother had wheels, I'd be a fucking bicycle. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, like, we could be in a real...
Where us Stu believers were proven right. And, Sister Pam, and all could have been proven right. And because they didn't have the balls, and because they were afraid of pissing off the Stu deniers, they're like, nah, let's play it safe. We rather piss off the Stu fans instead. That's, for some reason, way safer. Dropping the ball. Nope.
Okay, so this is another.
He kind of has it backwards a little bit.
I'm gonna, you know what? I have a matching quote from Sister Pam. That's like, it's like he probably regurgitated this from her. He watches all of her videos.
What these people don't get is they baited you Stuthers so you'd watch the movie, and then they tricked your ass. Okay,
Scammed you.
literally-
See? They tricked your ass.
Anytime you say it, I'm just gonna pop it up.
It's good. But yeah, that's that gave the movie hype for people to come and watch the movie, right? Like, ooh, Stu's coming back. That's how do you think they made $200 million?
Oh God, Sister Pam. Hey, we want Sister Pam to participate here, to be involved with the video. We're not doing this maliciously, right? I want to ask her questions. I have legitimate questions, and she can ask us questions. I mean, you were scammed. We got Rockets Kitty says we got scammed. This clip is processing.
No, we didn't get scammed. The Stuthers got scammed. That's what she's saying.
I might have to. This thing is taking forever to process.
It happens.
I feel like
my intro from the other night took forever to upload onto StreamYard.
Let me see. I'm gonna enter the studio again on another window.
Yep.
Double it up again and see.
Might as well. Fucked up again.
See what happens.
You fucked it up again, Sonny Jim. Well, now it's my stream. Welcome back to Scareticulous, everyone.
Yep. I'm going to try again. I'm going to upload it again. It should have been a quick one. I don't think it's that long. She just got... There we go. Okay, this is... I think that guy just regurgitated what she said, basically. This is from after Scream 7.
For years now, and on TikTok for years before that. From what I've seen, majority of the fandom wanted Stu to be alive, and I just think the portion of the fandom who didn't want it might have been louder than our side of the fandom. I don't know. So Listen, if you like this movie,
Okay, so listen, I don't know if she really believes this or not, but that's not how this works, right? They're not like, there's not like a scale with you can't see my hands because they're transparent, and they're not like, oh, Stuthers want. Oh wait, no, non-Stuthers don't. Oh wait, where are we at? We got to make the movie. Where are we at? Which one's higher? Who wants it more? Non-Stuthers win. That's not what's happening here. They don't really care what we're saying. Like, and you said this before. She should be so happy and proud that all this stuff they did actually got Matthew Lillard in the movie.
Right. You guys should feel lucky you got anything at all, honestly.
Because he never would have been. Like
it wasn't like just a picture of his face or something. You literally got Matthew Lillard as Stu.
Yeah.
Whether it's AI or not, I mean, it's literally him there in the movie.
Playing his character.
Yeah. So be happy about that.
And you know, it's, again, I made this analogy before. They are like the kids who got every item on their Christmas wish list. They got all the presents.
Except the one thing.
No, they got it all.
Oh.
But then later in the day, they found out that it wasn't Santa Claus who gave it to them. It was their parents. And now they don't want the gifts anymore because Santa isn't alive.
Right.
Santa has to have brought them the gifts or else they're no good.
It's got to be the real Stu Macher or it doesn't count.
Like that's not... You can't be a mature adult and complain that Santa isn't real.
Right.
Like, I mean, you got your gifts. Be happy. You got what you wanted. I mean, that's,
I'll just say this. Like, I feel very strongly about other movie franchises and even some game franchises. If I got what y'all got with some of the franchises I love, I would be fucking thankful. Okay, I'll just say that you guys have been spoiled. I'm gonna be real. You Scream fans have been spoiled. You're lucky your franchise is still alive, and you don't have to keep reviving it from the fucking dead every few years because no one wants to market or pay to get these fucking movies made. Whereas with your franchise, it's very lucrative. People still go to the theaters to see it. You guys should feel lucky that they pander to you so much.
Yeah, and so we talked about the reason why they're begging for the alternate Stu ending, the alternate cut, if you will. The Scream Fanatic guy kind of gave it away here.
That's annoying, but at least now we have confirmation from Matthew Lillard himself that yes, Stu was in fact to be alive. He was in fact to be back. And that deleted scene, it is somewhere out there. And who knows? They could release it, and they could even give us a Stu cut, like an alternate version of the movie with that ending, which I would hope. Like, it'd be nice if we could get that scene, and that, you know, we could kind of maybe view it as canon. I don't know.
There it is. They want the scene so they can try and view it as canon, so they can canonize it, and then come on here and say, we were right. Look, he really is alive. He's coming back in 8. He gave it away.
Yep. And I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think this scene exists. If it did, it would have been in the deleted scenes features on the Blu-ray or whatever.
See, and there's one other point I want to make here. So
Have any of them answered the question why that deleted scene wasn't in the deleted scenes on the 4K whatever?
So I think I can answer that.
Okay.
I think the reason why is because it's not actually a legitimate deleted scene. That's the thing. Deleted scenes normally, I actually plan on doing a whole thing on deleted scenes, like maybe a live stream down the road, because I got like a lot of my movies I like have them, and they kind of change the meaning sometimes. There's a lot of shit with deleted scenes. Most of the time they delete scenes from movies, it's for time constraints, for the runtime of the movie. That's the majority of the reason why they delete scenes.
They have to keep it under a certain time limit because they don't want to sit for like a 2.5 hour Scream movie.
Right. They have to cut, they cut stuff that's just not significant and it feels like it's dragging, right? A scene with just 2 characters talking and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add. Sometimes they cut shit that is good and does develop characters.
Yeah.
Now, so in addition to cutting the runtime, yes, there are sometimes alternate endings. Like the original Nightmare on Elm Street has like 3 or 4 different endings. Some of them are available. Most of them are available to see. You can catch them on YouTube. I'm saying that sometimes there's alternate endings and they will cut them, for whatever reason, or they put it on there, give you a different idea what could have happened. That happens sometimes. So the other reason, other than the runtime, that they cut scenes normally is because it could change the way the viewer views a certain character.
Right.
Maybe change a character. They don't want them to be viewed as a sympathetic character. If there's a deleted scene that makes them,
or maybe it gives something away that they didn't intend or something. Or
an example, and this is just a theory of mine. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, there is a deleted scene in the basement when Marge explains to Nancy about Freddy's backstory. It is revealed that Nancy and her neighbors, her friends, actually had older siblings that Freddy killed when he was alive. That Nancy was not always an only child, and they cut that from the movie. That part where Marge tells her daughter that she had a brother or a sister that died from Freddy when he was alive, they cut that. Now, if you observe the film, Marge's behavior still is that of somebody who lost a child. The fact that she stole Freddy's glove and kept it, that she was involved in the mob, further proves that she did have a dead child at Freddy's hands. However, just because she didn't tell Nancy about it, just because Nancy doesn't know about it, doesn't mean it's not canon in the story that Marge had another kid. Now, that's confirmed. It's just if you examine the behavior, it fits. I believe they deleted that scene of her telling Nancy that because it would have framed Marge as a sympathetic character when she was really a somewhat antagonist, locking Nancy in her house, etc. So that's another reason why sometimes they do this shit. To answer your question, why this is not on the DVD, the Blu-ray, it's not a legitimate scene. It wasn't planned. It wasn't in the script. It was never going to happen. Even if that, quote, test audience, let's assume all this happened. Even if that test audience would have said, we love this, everyone in there would have said, this is awesome. It still wasn't going to be there. Like, that's the thing. They have this weird thing with the test audiences now. They're doing this thing where, like, oh, the test audiences control this. Damn that test audience. That's not entirely true. They will show test audiences all kinds of shit. That doesn't mean they have any intent of actually using it. It was not supposed to be filmed by Matthew Lillard himself admitting that. He was begging Kevin Williamson to film some stupid shit with him alive. They never had any intent of using this.
Right. For all we know, they could have filmed it on their phones or something.
They could have. That's why, and that would make sense too. Why it's not on the DVD extra, because it's not even a real like video file.
He probably recorded it with some subpar equipment because it was literally meant to be like 10 seconds long, and it wouldn't matter if it was made with quality or whatever. It was literally just him sitting in a basement with a little laptop or a TV or a fucking one of those little handheld TVs from the 80s.
iPad.
Who the fuck knows? iPad, whatever the hell it was. And they just shot it and then just got out of there in like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
The point is, it was
that.
never going to be used. It was
right.
never.
And here's the other thing I thought of. This is just a possibility. Okay. So, has anyone ever seen like deleted scenes from movies from like 20, 30 years ago?
Sometimes they are not like finished.
Right. If you look at them, they look very like there's no color grading. There's lots of scratches on them and stuff because they were shot with film back then, right?
Yeah.
What if this movie was all shot? Okay, everything was done. They hired a bunch of people. They left that day because the work's over, job's done, right? And everyone's got to leave. All the scenes were submitted, and then at some point, he got maybe like a camera or someone else to help, maybe a PA help them shoot this one scene, okay? And they managed to plop it at the end of like all the official, footage that they shot for the movie, and they plopped it right at the end there, just edited it right in, like literally in Adobe Premiere, just like clipped it right there, right? They just popped it right in there. And then when they showed it to the test audience, because maybe Kevin Williamson had some sway and he's like, I'll do this solid for Matthew Lillard and we'll see what the test audience thinks, with that scene plopped in. And when they played it, it didn't fly. So he took a scene right back out. He's like, never mind then. We're not going to use that. And then they showed it to more test audiences and it played better. Well, it could have been something like that. I could maybe believe that was something that happened, but I don't believe they had all the crew there with the writers and the cameraman and the cinematographer and everyone there, art directors, what is it, the best boy, what is it called, best grip, whatever the fuck, all these people that come on movie sets. I don't think they had that whole crew there to shoot that one sequence. I think it was literally like a guerrilla style sequence they shot. And they literally plopped it at the end just to see if they tested it, if it exists at all. Okay, this is a big if. This is all content. This is this is all dependent on whether that shot actually exists. I don't think it was part of the full like plan for the movie. It was literally unplanned. They verified it as unplanned. I'm pretty sure they said this, right? Kevin Williamson said it was unplanned.
I mean, he confirmed that Lillard was just begging him to film it.
Right. So that means that the movie was already shot. They literally were done. And Matthew Lillard at the very end of the home stretch of the movie is like, hey, can we just shoot this one scene? And Kevin Williamson's like, yeah, I guess we can shoot it maybe after everyone's gone. And we can kind of go in my basement.
It's just to shut the guy up.
Right.
Let's be real. I mean,
right. But the thing that I don't get about these people, why they don't question the discrepancies. Kevin Williamson said a laptop. Matthew Lillard said a TV. Which is it? Why don't y'all question that?
Even Spidey today, I put that on one of his comments. Even he said, you make a good point, bro. Even he said,
that's what they said. That's not us saying it. We didn't make this up. They literally said that. And it's weird that they would mistake a TV for a laptop. Those are two different things.
Yeah, they're.
So either it doesn't exist or one of them's lying.
Okay, so
a weird thing to lie about.
I caught this in a live stream the other night. This is, I think I sent this one while it was happening. This is, oh God, this was one of the most just embarrassing commentaries I have heard. There was like this panel of 5 Stuthers just here.
If not, again, your average Joe Schmo doesn't pay the bills. It's the fans that pay the bills.
Okay, I'm just going to stop him right there. So they think that like the diehard obsessed Stuthers are the ones that make this franchise keep going. Like that's kind of in their mind that like those are the real fans. You have to be a Stuther. You have, and they're the ones that keep this going. This very small, tiny percentage of people.
You know, there's a word for this that they use on the internet to describe this mindset. You know what that word is?
Not off the top of my head. You may have said it before.
Cope.
Oh, well. Yeah. Well, we talk about the copium all the time.
It's cope.
Well,
that is cope. Right
this
there.
is a comment that falls in line with that. This is a comment from a Sistapam video where she responds to the commenter. I want to read this. I want you to
I'll say this. If it was the real fans that watch these movies, and that's where the majority of profits come from, and not just ordinary everyday folks, they wouldn't need to put so much money into this thing called marketing. Okay? Marketing is I think you guys need to learn a little bit more about how the industry actually works. I feel like there's a lot of ignorance that goes around where they don't understand like demographics. They don't understand like, you know, design of like how the posters are made, who they're marketed towards, the age groups. They don't consider these things when they're thinking about things like that, where it's like, it's the fans that keep the movies alive. No, it's not. It's the everyday moviegoer that keeps it alive, and they market it to the general audience.
If only the obsessed Stuthers were the ones funding these films, the movie would have grossed like under $1 million. Instead, it grossed.
Yeah,
what,
it would not. I'm sorry, it would not make that much money. I would say, and I'm being generous here, if it was just the hardcores, okay, literally just the hardcore Scream audience that would show up for this, it would make 50 million.
That's being very generous.
Yeah. 50 million. I'll give you 50 million, not a penny more.
Barry wants to sidetrack us and talk about Fast and Furious. I'll be honest. I think those movies are about as realistic as Friday the 13th, and they're not really my cup of tea. But I think that if the movie says that they're dead, then they're dead. Did the movie say that they're dead?
Yeah, I don't.
Barry,
I'm not a huge fan of those movies.
Yeah.
Do they really hold themselves higher than other moviegoers? In terms of Scream, they do. Yes. They think they're more important and their voice matters more and is louder.
Let me see if I'm going to keep this going.
And I think what these people have to keep in mind is the silent majority is often way louder of a voice than you guys is online. You guys talk a lot. You scream a lot about this stuff, but you're not the majority. You're just louder.
Yeah. And you know,
the average Scream goer, the average like moviegoer who loves Scream, I'm telling you, they're not going on YouTube and looking at all these Stu theories and shit. They just love Scream. They love the movies. They don't question, like me.
Yeah,
I like the Scream movies. Okay, I've liked them since they came out in the 90s. I've always liked them, but that's it. I've always liked them. I never was like dying to know, like, is Stu coming back? Did this person do like that's a very niche. You're in a niche. That's what they don't get. You're in a niche. That is not what the average moviegoer who likes Scream thinks about. They just like these movies. They're marketed well. They're each kind of done in the same way, so you know you're going to have a good time when you watch them, and that's it. That's the average moviegoer. That's how much thought they put into this stuff.
Hey Barry, I do have a question for you. In your recent video where you talked about how, and let's be absolutely clear, Barry was speaking about us in his video when he was talking about how people that have Barry, can you please point to
Barry likes to punch down, I noticed.
Yeah. Hey Barry, could you be able to point to a YouTube content creator that actually uploads videos, not an account, Barry, not a YouTube account, a YouTube channel, meaning there's videos uploaded, please point to a YouTube channel with videos where the uploader is doing nothing but uploading videos about Stu being dead. Please.
I would love to see them.
Please show me this channel so I can become a paid member of them. Please.
Yes.
Please, Barry, because in your video, when you say there are channels dedicated just of saying Stu's dead, he's referring to my burner troll accounts, which are just for commenting, Barry. They're not real channels. There's no videos on them, right? That's not content creation. That's commenting. That's trolling, right? So if you can show me real channels, if you can show me the anti-Sistapam, right? Please show me Brother
Sam.
Please show me Brother Sam that says that Stu is dead in every video, and I will become a member of Brother Sam. I will tell you this. I will support Brother Sam in his quest.
Punching down by the fact that you have over 100,000 subscribers and we're very small, piddling subs that don't get a lot of interaction.
Oh, I may have a third of Barry's subscribers. Well, when I upload a new core video, I typically get more views. And that's gotta hurt.
It really does hurt Barry's feelings.
So this is the comment.
It hurts him in the nards.
This is a comment left on a Sistapam video, and she replied. I will read it to those who are treating this like a podcast. So the commenter said, "You guys need to grow up and educate yourself on how the world works. 99% of Scream fans don't even probably remember who Stu is. My sister classes herself as a massive Scream fan, and when I said this was a Stu-centered film, she said, 'Who? We are the obsessive. This is like a hobby for us. Most moviegoers don't have a clue. If you get 10,000 in a test audience, you probably only get about 7 people who would actually want Stu back. I am a lifelong fan, and I think it's a stupid idea 30 years on, and the filmmakers agree. The general audience wouldn't have a clue who Stu is.' She replied respectfully, she's not a massive Scream fan if she doesn't even remember who Stu is. What are your thoughts on this? You just said a lot of them already. This ties in pretty much exactly what you were just talking about. His sister. He said he told his sister about it was a Stu-centered film, and she said she's a massive Stu fan.
She doesn't remember who. So she's a massive Scream fan and doesn't know who Stu Macher is.
That's what his sister said. Well, she considers herself a massive.
I would say Sister Pam would be right about that. If you don't know who Stu is and you're a massive Scream fan, to say that about yourself and not know who Stu is, that is weird. Just honestly speaking,
I am going to say
I agree with everything else they said.
So I think there is. You have to take this relatively. From her perspective, a massive Scream fan obviously has to know who Stu is. Mm-hmm. But that kind of goes back to what you were saying, and what this guy is saying. You know, he says we're the obsessive. Most people that consider themselves big movie fans aren't actually that big of movie fans, right? They're not really. They'll say they are and whatnot. I've had conversations with people like this before, where I'll say, like, you know, I'm a huge fan of this movie, and they can't quote any lines from it. They don't remember characters. I mean, a lot of people that will say they're massive fans of stuff aren't that what we consider to be a massive fan. But I think in general, this guy and his sister are, for the most part, correct. I think that for the most part, even people, if you go out and find them and they'll say, oh yeah, I love the Scream movies, there is a chance that some of them may not really remember Stu. Because he's not Sydney's boyfriend. He is not the main killer. He is not the main antagonist in that film. I think there are plenty of Scream fans, not obsessive people, not people content creating, not people subscribed to her, not people using YouTube for Scream. But I think there's plenty of people out there who would say, I love the Scream movies, who don't remember who Stu is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because before I really got into this whole Scream community stuff, and I came out with my first reaction to the Scream 7 trailer when it first came out, I knew who Stu was. I wasn't a massive Scream fan. I'm still not a massive Scream fan. I'm an ordinary Scream fan. I like the movies. I think they're entertaining. Some of them are better than others. And, you know, hopefully the next one isn't shit. That's how I think about the Scream movies. I still know who Stu Macher is. Just like I know who Billy is and Sydney. That first movie is iconic. So if you are a self-professed massive Scream fan, you would know that. You would know who Stu is. That said, the important part about this comment is not that part. It's the part where it says most Scream fans, they wouldn't be concerned. It's not that they wouldn't even know who Stu is. They probably wouldn't be concerned whether Stu Macher is coming back or not in the next movie, or like, is he still alive? Like, no, none of them are questioning that. Like, I know I wasn't. Take me, for example. I might not seem like it because some people don't understand my presence in the Scream community yet, which is fine. I'm not a massive Scream fan at all. I'm an ordinary Scream fan. I like it as much as I like any other horror franchise. It's not my favorite. Okay? Not by a mile. So if you take me as a good example, I know who Stu was. Emphasis on was, because I know he died in that first movie. And when I came into this, I'm like, well, he's dead. That's weird. Why would he be coming back? That's how I thought about it when I first saw this. If you want to go review my first reaction to the Scream 7 trailer, you'll get a good glimpse into what the average Scream fan thinks. You can review it. I don't care. That's literally me before I really got into all the Stu theories and all that shit. It'll be a good example if you want to pour through that.
They are. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying she's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's relative to the person, whoever said it thinks of, you know, what makes a massive fan. Personally, I guess so. From my standpoint, if I didn't know who Stu was from Scream, I would not be able to classify myself as a massive fan. Right. If I didn't know a somewhat.
Yeah. If you didn't know who Stu was, I don't think you could call yourself a massive fan.
If I didn't know who he was, I wouldn't say I was a massive fan. But again, the general public, the people who really pay the bills on this stuff, the people who really show up to the theater, they might, because they're not in that echo chamber. They're not in that, you know, that environment where they're, you know, talking about this stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see both ways. I just thought that was an interesting one. Let me see here. So I do have some a various folder here with the Stu Clues, with the and some of these have to do with Scream 7. There's definitely one. So one of the things they keep saying has to do with the first phone call, right? That's their biggest thing from this whole Stu thing for their Stu Clues for Scream 7 is that first phone call. And I know you covered this in the first Stu Clues Scream you did when you talked about the lighting. They will say like, oh, well, that first Stu call, you know, that has to be him, right? Because it looks better than the other ones. And you know, it's more real, and he knows things that only Stu could know, and they say shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's how they try and justify it, and they'll say, "Well, his scars, you know, his scars in the first phone call are much more prominent."
By the way, I don't know if you've debunked this one yet. So they literally did like a on set with Matthew Lillard, Stu Macher special thing. I think they gave it to IGN or something.
Yeah, I know what you're
that. I know. And literally, when he's shooting that scene where they say he doesn't have the scars, he literally has the scars. When they're shooting from a different angle, you can see them.
Right. So this image right here, this is the finale. This is final AI Stu, in which even the Stuthers will say this is AI. This isn't the first or the second phone call where it's quote the real Stu, right? This is the fake Stu. Are you telling me his face isn't full of scars there? Look at the scars all over his forehead, down his eye, on the side of his face. He is clearly every bit as scarred in this photo as he is in the first call. right? Like you can see them.
Yeah.
So for them to say that the AI calls aren't scarred, that's again cope. They're coping. They're trying to pretend like this isn't there. I mean, that's one thing. Now, as far as that first phone call, they will say, and this is something to think about. They'll say, well, that can't be AI, right? Because he's moving, right? He's moving, and I see you added this here. Yeah, I'll pop this on here.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
So this is from this IGN like special feature where it's Scream 7 Stu Macher behind the scenes. And this is that same can you pop it up? So I don't look like a moron explaining this. So this is from that same scene where they say that Stu didn't have the scars because he's wearing the same jacket where he looks cleaner. Now, obviously the shot, the head-on shot, is when he's talking to Gail and Sydney in that room, right? Yeah. And they say in that shot that this is not AI because he doesn't have the scars here, right? But you can see by this shot, he clearly does have the scars on.
He always has the scars.
Right. His face does not look like that in real life. They put makeup on him.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Okay, I'm gonna pop this off. Hold that. Okay, so you're saying that and again, right here, same thing. He always has the scars, right? Yeah. Always. Now, remember, they also want to say that Stu was alive in the background in Scream 2, right? At the college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if that's the case, where are his scars?
Right, there's no scars.
If he has the scars in 7 and he's alive, he has to have them here too.
Exactly. And look at this. Pop this up again.
Hold on. We needed a sad trombone.
Okay,
right?
Look at this is when he's posing with Kevin Williamson in the same video.
Hold on one second. Okay. I'll pop it up here one second.
As you can see, scars are still there.
Yeah, because they put the makeup on him and he shot everything the same fucking day. Obviously. Yeah. I mean, right. This is, I mean, it's silly, but here's the thing with this.
All the instances of him have scars. That's the point I was making is there's no shot where he doesn't have the scars. He does have the scars in all of them.
Except for Scream 2. No scars in Scream 2. Bleach blonde Matthew Lillard with no scars, but that's really him. The podcaster said so. He was seen there. So wait a second. Which is it? Was he on the campus of Windsor College with no scars? Was he in prison leading a cult of ghost faces? Or is he out in the wild 30 years later with scars? Which one is it, folks?
Well, just like... Dude, didn't you see Curse of Chucky?
Oh boy, I saw.
When he put on the mascara and the makeup to hide the scars and plaster. Didn't you see that? You fucking idiot! Man. So clearly he had some fucking plaster on his face and was hiding the scars. You dumb shit.
Just laughing. Which one? That
shithead. Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly which part they're laughing at. Even Barry's laughing.
Barry loves this shit.
Looks like. Sorry, I'm not as on the ball with the comments because I have to have the other asset thing loaded to open the sound.
I can't highlight comments.
She's wrong, but I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, Barry. You want to clarify that? He's talking about me talking about Pam saying that.
Yeah.
Well, again, two things can be true at the same time, Barry. Anyone watch Mormon Housewives? I do not.
No.
Let me see. So, okay, so they're saying that, well, he's moving around, right? He's moving around. So that can't. Now, let's keep something in mind here. This is the same universe where Roman Bridger had a futuristic voice changer back in the 90s, right? So if you have that technology in the 90s, and who knows how long they had it for, right? Could have had it in the 80s. Who knows? If you have that futuristic voice technology in this universe, don't you think it's possible maybe their AI is a little better than ours too? Is that too far of a stretch?
That makes sense.
That maybe
this franchise is not that realistic. I'm sorry to say for a lot of people.
But here's the thing with the AI, with Stu, with the first phone call, walking around talking. There is a new channel on YouTube called Chloe vs. History. I don't know if you've heard of this or not, where basically there is this girl named Chloe, where she uses an AI background to time travel herself to different locations, like on the Titanic, with cavemen, all kinds of shit. So I'm going to play a little clip of Chloe versus history here. This is a woman named Chloe dealing with an AI environment. This is made in real life. It's a trending, like, popular YouTube channel right now.
Start. I am standing in 10,000 BC right now. Like, this is Earth. Our Earth.
Oh, he's hot.
Before literally everything. Nobody has built anything. Nobody has broken anything. It's just perfect. I've been sitting here and I haven't said a single word they understand, and they haven't said a single word I understand. And somehow I feel like I know them. Also, I don't have Wi-Fi, and I genuinely don't care right now. That's new. I would have been a total disaster in the BC.
Okay, so that's Chloe, the actress, interacting with AI. Now, I don't know about you, but that looks pretty real to me.
What do you mean interacting with AI?
Well, it's like an actress with the green screen behind her or whatever, with the AI.
No. She's AI.
Damn it, you spoiled it. God damn it.
Sorry, you were building up to something?
Son of
Sorry, I didn't know
But
what you
here's
were
the
doing.
thing. If you don't know that, you wouldn't know she's AI. It's actually extremely believable, and she looks extremely real when you watch the stuff. This is not.
If you are if an untrained boomer eye, you're not going to know it's AI. Sure.
More than that, a lot of people in the comments knew that the whole thing was AI, but they believed Chloe was a real person.
Also, the audio gives it away too. But
I'm saying it's very good.
Okay, whatever.
And the point I'm making is, in the movie, the AI guy is supposed to work for Google, right? He did. He's not a slob. He's not making AI slop, right? The whole thing is he knows what he's doing and he can make perfect AI. That's the point. For him to say, well, that has to be real Stu because AI can't look that good and he's walking around. And when you factor in that, first of all, it's actually Matthew Lillard filming, which maybe they shouldn't have done. Maybe they should have actually made him AI, right? If they wanted to do it, right? They generously let Matthew Lillard fucking show up on set. But anyway, if in universe they have advanced technology from the voice changer from the fucking 90s, they've got an advanced AI guy making the videos. Of course they can make it look perfect. So for them to say, well, it looks too real to be AI, it's got to be the real Stu. That's the real Stu. His facial features and he's moving with the camera. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I have weird justifications, but can you do me a favor?
What's up?
Can you share this image, but also can you highlight Wolfman's last comment where he says he's doing actual police investigating tomorrow? Highlight that and show my image, please.
Gotta head to bed to do actual police investigating tomorrow. Let me get you. Oh, Barry, we love you, Barry.
I found Barry's headshot from his police squad that he works at. Sorry, I doxed you, Barry.
I could tell that was AI. Well, Rockets Kitty, I will say, go to the Chloe vs. History channel and watch some of the videos. Yes, if you know she's AI, you can tell it's AI. But if you are told that everything else is AI except for her, when you watch it, it is, some of the videos are believable where it looks real enough that she could be a real person. I will tell you that. It is very, very well done. You know the rest of the video is AI.
I think you should cease this line of reasoning and move on to another topic because you just sound like a boomer right now.
Yeah, boomer.
You sound like a 75-year-old on Facebook.
Again, Barry, it's very easy for you.
Is this real? You show it to your grandson. This is real. Morgan Freeman did a freebase jump off a bridge.
First of all, you blew my killer reveal with Chloe. Okay, she doesn't look real. Okay, You only sound. Thank you for that. She doesn't look real, bro. All right. She doesn't look real. All right. We'll move on. Okay, so let me see here. The various. Oh yeah, and I think I posted this in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, which I tried promoting us in the. Not sure how many people caught the links in the Facebook groups. They do let me post there sometimes now. I think I sent you this earlier today. This image, it was a comment from, let me see which one.
Oh, I sent you the link in the private chat. That's to my original Scream 7 trailer reaction, if you want to look at that later.
Let me see. Hold on, I gotta find
you get a good idea of the average Scream fan in that.
Is it this one? No, that's the Spidey. That's the Spinosaurus. That's Pam. Oh, yeah, that's Pam. There's the other Pam. Where the fuck is it?
I think I'm going to do a parody of Sister Pam and
nice.
just have it be Brother Sam.
Brother Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't find this.
I got to do something with that.
The thing about, I know I sent it to you. I sent you the thing about Roman. Anyway, somebody wrote in one of the Facebook groups, or I wrote it in one of the Facebook groups, actually. I was like, look, does everyone here realize that Roman did not know Stu? That Roman and Stu never met each other? Because this is like another one of these fan wank things. And even I am somewhat guilty of this, because in my Scream 7 idea video, I said that it would be a good idea for them to do a flashback with Roman, Stu, and Billy killing Maureen. But in fact, the movies contradict that. There is no evidence that Roman and Stu ever met. And there does seem to be...
No, he actually says in the movie, he says, get yourself a patsy.
Yeah. So I think, well, what has happened...
Why is he's never met the patsy?
When you talk about the headcanon of people... Yeah. I think that what has definitely happened, and I think if you ask most diehard Scream fans, these people, these Stuthers, anybody, people that are really diehard Scream fans, if you ask them, I think the majority of them, like 90% of them, would say that there was like a moment in time where Roman, Billy, and Stu were like in Stu's basement plotting how to do everything, how to do all the killings, and they were working together, and Roman was pulling the strings, or Stu was Roman's real his real apprentice, and what if he's the real mastermind? You know what? I think I have this right here. Hold on a second. I started playing the beginning of this. I'm just going to let this run a little.
If not, again, your average Joe Schmo doesn't pay the bills. It's the fans that pay the bills. Pointing to all of our fans out there, man, for Scream 8. If the directors take it that route, that's the best thing they can do for the franchise, for real. Mm-hmm. If not, man, this is again is going to be another bomb, and then Scream is going to be like just like Halloween, because we all talked about it. Yeah, Scream is going to be just like Halloween. That you're going to have all these timelines, you're going to have all these stories that doesn't match up, and is going to confuse people, and is going to suck.
Okay, I have to stop right there, because I don't know what the fuck he saw, but I can tell by your facial expression you don't know either. Basically, what he was saying is that if Stu doesn't come back in the next Scream movie, then somehow Scream is going to have a bunch of different timelines, like Halloween and I guess Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like how they have all these fucking split time jumps and shit. That somehow if Stu doesn't return, that the Scream timeline no longer makes sense. I don't know what kind of sense that makes or where the logic is in that. Your thoughts?
I'm just curious why Barry looks like the guy from the Train Spotters in his Twitter pic. Is it on purpose? Trying to look like a wimpy Scotsman for some reason. Anyway,
his profile picture?
Yeah, I got distracted because he tweeted at us.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't come on the panel.
Said, that's a hard pass. That's what he said.
Yeah, he could show up and spend his whole evening in the chat.
So repeat what you said to me before, but in less words.
Yeah, so basically what that guy just said in that recording, he said that if Stu doesn't come back in Scream 8, then that means that Scream is essentially the new Halloween and there's a shit ton of timelines.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what sense that makes.
Here's the irony of that that statement. First off, Halloween has essentially rebooted like 3 times now, in some capacity. You have the Halloween H2O, which essentially removed all the sequels after the first movie. Then you had the Rob Zombie movies. Then you had the other sequels to the first movie where they nixed Halloween H2O. It's like that's constantly being rebooted all the time. Whereas Scream has had the same canon for years and years since the first one.
But he says that if Stu doesn't come back, then somehow now Scream has different timelines. Can someone make sense of this?
That doesn't make any sense. I think he's jumping a lot of points to make his argument. Like there is an argument you could make that if the writers keep writing themselves into these weird spots, that eventually the series might have to reboot, and then you'll have eventually a bunch of restarted timelines over the course of time. But that hasn't happened yet. The series is still successful.
And he said
it's still ongoing, and it's foolish to keep predicting this stuff. But here's the true irony of what he said. Okay, you want to hear the true irony of what he said? Think about the comparison, comparing it to Halloween. What happened in the Halloween movies where they had to reboot it?
The first time.
The first time. What was the thing? Do you think is kind of a subjective question here, not a right or wrong answer, but I'm leaning towards a particular answer here. What happened with that franchise where they had no choice but to basically bring things back to basics?
Well, in between Halloween 6 and H2O, 2 things happened. Number one, Donald Pleasance died in real life.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about within the movies themselves.
You called me a Sydney tard before at a different stream, so I would say they wanted Jamie Lee Curtis back.
Sure, but what I'm talking about is that with that franchise, it went so off the rails with all this lore and backstory and bringing characters back from and all this stuff, right? They literally did what you guys want to happen to Scream. By bringing Stu back and opening up Pandora's box and all that shit that you guys want to happen. They did that with Halloween already, and it failed hard. That's why they had to reboot it. That's the irony of what he's saying. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get it completely. It is, and it's here. Let me keep this going.
You know, it's one of those things that if you did have Stu finally come back in 8, he was the one that killed Dewey. He was the one that did all these things. That makes more sense than anything. Wrap it up in a tiny, pretty bow and be like, you know what? Let's give the fans what they want. Yep. He was there the whole time. He was the one that took out Gail's boyfriend, right? And almost killed Gail, right? Yes, and then you could make it even more sense that he didn't want to kill Gail because he still wants to string her along. Us fans come up with better theories of what's happening.
No, you don't.
Happening. What you need to do is all these influencers that are very Scream heavy fans and, you know, us and whatever, those are the people that you need to screen it.
Yeah, we need to have the craziest people screen the movie. There's a reason why these people aren't invited to test audiences, because they don't want the input of crazy people.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. This gets worse though.
Is that when they said burn it all down, that should have been Stu snapping and going, just like Ed said.
That's
it
all
should have been him snapping, going, that's it. I'm tired of this. I'm the only one. I'm the OG. Let's go. And then not only that, because remember, me and Dave came up with this, and I love Dave for this. And Marcus, you were into this too, is that it's always Billy. What if Billy wasn't the guy? What if Billy was the fall guy? but he bullied Stu into being the fall guy, right? I love the theory that Dave had that Roman had Stu first, told Billy, and Billy, because he's crazy, tried to take over the whole damn thing. Come on.
And we even made it make sense with how that would tie into. We made that make sense very easily.
Dude, we had so many ways to make it make sense. And it's just like, come on.
That's what I want. I think Stu is bitter about never going to bed with Sydney. He could have thoughts on why he never did.
Here, I got a thought on that.
All I can tell you, sir, is that he's gay.
Gay. That's my thought on why Sydney never went to bed with Stu. Good grief, man! Did you? He disappeared.
Sorry.
Did you catch all of that?
No, I didn't catch all that.
What was the last thing you heard? You didn't hear all that shit they said?
I was distracted.
Okay, well that's okay. So basically, he said that what if Billy wasn't really the person Roman went to? What if it was actually Stu and they were convincing Billy, and Billy was the real fall guy, and Roman and Stu were working together, and they said, we made sense. We've made it made sense. We've written it. It makes sense. And then someone asked him a question. Why didn't Stu go to bed with Sydney? He could have. And then I did this.
All I can tell you, sir, is that he's gay.
Gay. That's
people have such bizarre ideas about these characters.
Yeah,
very weird. I don't get it. I really don't.
They just figured out.
They project so much onto Stu. It's weird.
To say that Stu was actually the person working with Roman, and they were fooling Billy.
See, this is more than just like a fan fiction. This is like an obsession with a character.
Right. And
this
again,
ain't fan fiction. Body, where are you? This ain't fan fiction. You hear that and you're like, fan fiction. No, this weird, obsessive talk.
Barry, I thought you had to go to bed, buddy.
Yeah. I thought you were going to your special police department bullshit.
Barry.
Sergeant Doofy at your service.
Barry, that quote is from the Martin Lawrence movie Blue Streak. There's an interrogation scene with him and Dave Chappelle, where he's yeah.
All I can tell you, sir, is that he's gay.
Gay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Stu. Gay.
He is gay. He's gay.
So
that's why he killed his girlfriend. That was his official coming out. And ironically, he put on the ghost face mask so he could hide himself, and then he comes out of the closet at the end of the movie unmasked.
Yes, he does. He does come out of the closet. That's another thing they cannot deny.
Yeah.
So, but that just the whole reason I brought that whole thing up with the whole thing with Roman, with this delusional, this 5-man panel fantasizing about Roman grooming Stu and Stu tricking Billy. This whole weird, I guess really Roman wouldn't be the mastermind. Stu has to be the mastermind. Maybe Stu found Roman. Maybe Stu discovered that Sydney had a brother and it was Roman. And Stu's the one that told Roman that Sydney was his sister. Maybe Stu did all of it. Right? Any thoughts on that? You know? I mean, I'm surprised they haven't gone that far with it, right? So basically, they're trying to say that, Stu is so this Roman fantasy that like the three of them were together, hiding out in the basement. And then you have this
video. It's been a great week to be a Scream fan. It's been an even better week to be a Stu truther. In the video I originally made, it was talking about how Stu and Roman were going to come back, and the 7 different ways that we can make that happen. They're going to make that happen for us. The most plausible ways that I can think of that we thought of last night in the live chat together, these are the 7 plausible ways I think that it can happen. But I'm adding an addendum to the rest of this video. And that's because I just read from Daniel Rickman, who's a Hollywood insider, that, and he knows his Scream very well, that he's hearing Billy Loomis, old Skeet, is going to come back as well. Number 3, my personal favorite, Stu is actually still alive. Now, I won't go into it. I've explained it in 100 different videos exactly how they could have done this, could have faked his death, and he could still be hiding away somewhere. Look, what we do know is that Stu's not in jail somewhere. He's not in a mental ward somewhere, because they've mentioned him in the other movies as being presumably dead. So we know it's one of two things. Either he's still dead or he's back to life for the most part. And that is my favorite current idea for this. If he's still alive, if they faked his death, there's so many things you could do there. I would love to see them tied into a cult of Stu like they were going to do with Scream 3, but the cult was actually some of the people that were doing the killings in Scream 5. Well, that's what I'm hoping for as a Stu truther, that that's the reason they announced it. But that's what I'm hoping, is that he is back for real. Cult of Stu, fake death, the whole 9 yards. Them both being casted doesn't mean Stu's not still alive, because it makes sense that if Stu is still alive and he's like, surprise, Sidney, and he's back and he's doing his whole monologue explaining how they faked his death. Who else has faked their death before? Roman Bridges has faked his death before. So it makes so much sense, and we know that he was involved with Billy and Stu killing Maureen Prescott. You can easily imagine them flashing back to the faking of his death at the end of the events of Scream, and Roman being involved in it somehow, which would explain him being cast, but Stu being still alive.
Okay, we'll end that bullshit there. Okay, so again, there is this weird fantasy that Roman and Stu, these people are working together, that they were all there, that Roman was there. Okay, here's what, based off the evidence of the films, here's what more than likely happened. Roman goes into Woodsboro, probably in disguise, like probably not really telling anyone his real name. Like, he's probably got like a fucking Joe Goldberg baseball hat on, right? He shows up in Woodsboro with the videotape, meets Billy somewhere, shows Billy the tape, says, oh yeah, your mom, this is what you should do. You should find a patsy and kill the bitch. And then he gets in his car and leaves. Like, that's more than likely what happened.
Probably.
That's it. He did. He
although,
never do. Like,
although, I do have to question some things. Like, how did he know that Billy's dad was having an affair with Sydney's mom?
Well, I think he went to Woodsboro to meet Maureen. He introduced, remember, he showed up on her doorstep, and he probably followed her after that.
He followed her and he saw her.
Yeah, with Hank.
Oh,
yeah.
Was he? Did they show some footage of that in Scream 3?
Yeah, that would have been the same tape he would have showed.
Did he record them, and then maybe he showed that to Billy, and that's how?
He did. That's what he said. Yeah,
my memory's fuzzy. Again, not a massive Scream fan.
Yeah,
but I do recall some of that.
But what I'm saying, in their head canon, they don't see it that way. They see it as Roman showed up into town. Roman got the gang together, right, and said, "Okay, here's my
plan.
Here's my grand plan. We're killing this person here, killing this. You're killing Maureen. I'm going to come back a year later. We're going to kill all these people in Sydney, and I'm going to be walking around in the grocery store and in the woods, and I'm going to be hanging out in the background. But you're never going to see me, and I'm not going to come out when you go to kill Sydney. I'm going to hide somewhere, right?" I think they, in their head canon, they've convinced themselves this shit was happening. In reality, this guy came into town one day and then left. I mean, more than likely. That's pretty much.
I could see how maybe he was there a few weeks, maybe just getting to know his mom, and then he found out she was up to some fuckery. And that's when she involved this Billy kid, because he found out about him.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I feel like once he showed Billy the tape and shit, he probably booked it. Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure after that he removed his influence, because then it was pretty much Billy and Stu all the way.
Yeah.
And clearly, the way that Roman talked about it, he didn't know Stu.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
He never talked about meeting him. He never talked about, getting to know Stu. He said to Billy, "Get yourself a patsy," and that was it.
Unless it was actually Stu that was Roman's apprentice the whole time.
Again, if you want to make you can do that. Call it a fan fiction, but make sure to call it that. Call it fan fiction and call it a day, because the moment you start talking about the actual films and saying this is what happened in the movies, I just, you lose me then, because it's like, no, let's throw that shit in the fan fiction bin where it belongs and stop saying that's what really happened. And stop getting mad when people argue with you, because you're the one trying to assert your theory is true about these movies, not about fan fiction, about these movies.
Yeah. So let me see here. What do you got? We talked about the rich parents in the last one. Yeah. If anyone wants more information on the whole debacle of the rich parents and that shit, you can go back to
they're gonna still believe anything they want to believe anyway, so it's a moot point. I mean, they're gonna still say, because you didn't prove that there aren't rich parents, right? So they can just say no, there were rich parents, because look, it's California, look, it's a nice house. That's all they need.
Yeah,
that is literally it. They don't do a whole lot of thinking.
I will show Stu's.
There's a thing called critical thinking and being analytical, and that's not them. I think they want to think that's them, but it's not. You guys are posers. You're not analytical thinkers. You're not critical thinkers. You guys just come up with shit out of your ass and then call it reality.
It's a $50 watch, by the way. Everyone to see that and know.
It's not even a fucking Rolex. That costs nothing.
Moneybags Macher. If some kids at the party would have shown up and walked in and said, "Hey, Moneybags Macher, what's up, man?" If somebody would have added a dialogue like that, then maybe there's a chance.
I thought he had a police investigation to do. Now he's going to bed. Is he going to bed with the police chief? That's a Nard theory.
Well, now he's got to go to bed. Yes,
he has to sleep with the police chief, or else he'll get arrested.
I just want to point something out. I could go back and get the comments and put them up here, but Barry said that he absolutely would not be here tonight, and he could not participate in the stream because it was family time tonight, because his family were going to be home tonight, and he was supposed to be spending it with them. That's why he guaranteed he could not be here tonight.
Barry lost his family.
He said he could not be here tonight, yet I am pretty sure he was in the stream the entire time.
He was here.
Which is very interesting, since he's supposed to be enjoying family time tonight.
Can I say it's very cute? You guys have a little like will they, won't they kind of thing going
on. So again, Barry is invited on the panel, which he will obviously never accept. I mean, that was made clear tonight as he had the link and sat around trolling in comments rather than coming up here and defending himself.
He's not a good debater. He's not a critical thinker. I get it. It's easier to sit in a chat box.
He's not a critical thinker.
He's not. I'm sorry, but he's not. He thinks very shallowly about these things. And then if you make a good point, he's like, well, don't take it so seriously. It's like,
yeah,
Zodiac. Why are you even making videos?
He loves jumping to the Zodiac Killer, right? He loves it. Talking about the Zodiac Killer movie. So we wait a second. Let me see. There was something here.
Don't take it so seriously.
Oh, where the fuck is it at? What the? There is clues. Is it new clues?
Sweet dreams, body.
Nighty night. I will come on soon, boys. You're gonna come on the panel soon, Barry. And now he just put it in writing. Barry,
you made a promise.
Well, here's some honesty from Barry.
You got to play that clip from Cable Guy where he's like, "Do you mean it? Am I gonna be your buddy?"
Dude, we almost didn't do it because I played the short circuit customized thing I made. I almost forgot to play this. So just in case, if anyone wants to get a better illustration of Stu and Billy's relationship,
Here for you.
Out of here.
Oh, Billy.
we'll play it one more time.
That's perfect.
I'm here for you.
Out of here.
Oh, Billy.
That's so good. You got to give me these clips. Dude.
I'll get them to you in one more time just in case.
That's hilarious.
Forgot.
Oh, Billy.
It was perfect when you brought up I told you I was originally planning on doing something like that, but I didn't think you'd get the reference. And then when you brought up the cable guy, I was like, oh shit, perfect, because of the Billy. Just because it was Billy, I thought about it instantly from the jump.
Okay, here.
Scammed you. See, they tricked your ass.
Okay, you gotta play the cable guy clip that I'm putting on the thing now. I think it's like right around here. He says it. Okay, here we go.
Hey. Am I really your buddy?
I don't want to get claimed. I don't know how long I get. Oh shit.
That's Barry saying like, yeah, sure, I'll come on panel. Like, are you really gonna come on panel?
Oh, fun. Yeah, they're both Billy. We get it. Well, thanks, MJ. Thanks for confirming that. There's one thing
Shut up, MJ.
Scheduled here. 4 new. Okay, so I'm gonna make a contribution.
Really?
I'm going to make a contribution.
How much are you going to pay me?
I'm making the contribution to
$100. Very generous.
To the Stu Clues.
Oh, okay.
I'm making a contribution, and I had something here, and I can't fucking find
an official Stu Clue from the Stu Denier himself.
Yeah, I have 4. I have 4 new Stu Clues. Okay.
Wow.
Now, as we know.
Are we going to wrap it up here soon?
We are.
Okay.
We're coming to a close. I don't really have much. Well, one thing we can definitely plan for the future. I don't know if you want to host it, and I can just come on as a guest. We were talking about doing the future of Scream, our ideas for how to end the film, how to end the series, or a new installment, or what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss that. That could be a nice stream topic.
Yeah, that's a good one. I should plan that sometime.
Let me see.
Yeah, I'll do that stream.
And and we could have other people invited on the panel who won't show up, but
they don't like you.
I know they don't like me, and and here's the thing: I couldn't be more professional and more nice to Pam in emails and trying to. And again, if she wanted an apology for maybe some of the things I said in the past where I didn't know them quite as well, and where I didn't believe that they actually believe this stuff. I mean, I can say that, maybe I was wrong about that I shouldn't have said those things. And they didn't like me because I'm challenging them. And
no, they just don't like your personality. Honey Bunch has a good suggestion. That's a good one.
Stu. Well, I mean, there already is a Stu Clues song. She doesn't know this. I'm not playing it here because it's music, but that's
not that song. She means like the actual like Blues Clues song, but with Stu in there instead of Blue.
Gotcha.
Stu Clues.
Let me see. So
that'd be a good parody. If I was in the market of doing parody songs for Scream fans and they gave a fuck, I might make that.
I have 4 new Stu Clues. All right.
What are they?
The very first one, I think, could be technically all of my thumbnails and stuff here, because if you pay attention, you have Stu with the TV on his head, but it's right underneath live, right? So are these thumbnails and stuff actually a clue that Stu is alive? Because he's right underneath the live.
Right there. He's standing, which means he's alive.
Standing underneath a live sign. Is
Live.
this whole thing a subtle clue on my end that I'm actually a Stu believer? I don't know.
I think so. That
There's
this
a little bit of evidence here.
this whole thing of yours was an act. It was subversion.
Do you know the movie My Fellow Americans?
Yeah.
It was all a big facade.
Facade.
It was all just a big facade. So, maybe that's one. But here's another one. Another Stu clue. Right? Now, this comes from Mikey Madison, who played Amber in Scream 5. Let me see.
Isn't it just Mikey Madsen?
Is it Madison or Madsen?
I think it's Madsen.
He's related to Michael Madsen. I think it's Madison.
No, it's Madsen. Mikey Madsen.
Look it up right now while you're waiting. I bet you I'm right.
No.
Okay, so here's this clue from her. This is a Scream 5 interview.
I got to set and I didn't feel good and I had the ghost face costume on and I fainted. I think I wasn't feeling well in general, and then the costume, it just it's all black and I had multiple layers of clothing on and it just seals in all the warmth. And I was sort of jumping up and down and hyperventilating, trying to get some frenetic energy inside of me, my torso. And I was like, I don't feel good. And then walked over to a tent and fainted. And they were like, okay, well, maybe stop filming for now.
Remember, Stu said he was feeling a little woozy here. Is that a connection? Is that a Stu clue that because when she was filming as Ghostface, she felt woozy and fell down? Is that clue number 52?
Are you making these specifically to be extremely retarded sounding?
No, I wouldn't do that. That's not something I would do. Clue number 53, you guys. I have another one that's really good. Okay. This might be my favorite. Now we heard that possibly Tara, Jenna Ortega, is actually Stu's daughter, right? This was a theory presented earlier on.
Fact, apparently.
This was presented, right?
Yeah.
Now, remember in the original Scream, when Stu is throwing his party, remember when he walks up to Sydney and Tatum outside the school? And what does he say to them? He doesn't say, are you coming to my party? He says, you guys coming to my fiesta? Ooh. Jenna Ortega is Hispanic. What is a fiesta? A fiesta is a Hispanic Mexican party.
That proves it.
It's clue number 53.
That proves it.
That is a very good one, you guys. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. Except, what about clue number 54? Remember, when you did one of your recent live streams, you said you might have been hacked. You said it seemed like your stream was having problems. Remember, Matthew Lillard played serial killer in the movie Hackers.
Oh.
Was it Matthew Lillard hacking your stream to get revenge against you? Because
he played serial killer in the movie Hackers?
Cereal as in breakfast cereal.
And his name was serial killer in the movie?
Yep. That was his hacker handle.
And that links to Stu Macher, obviously.
Yes, because he's also a serial killer, and he hacked your stream. He was
just an AI just recently in Scream 7.
Might have been hacked from someone. Is this clue number 54?
It all links together. It's like a whole loop.
But I personally love the Fiesta one myself, and that seemed to get the best
I
reaction
think,
out of you.
A lot of these Stu clues are based on mildly associated things, like very small associations to other stuff that are either coincidental or just kind of funny. like that thing with the and he was named serial killer in that movie, so that like little things like that where they're like, that's the proof, and it's like, that's an interesting, like, similarity of something that is similar to something else, but that doesn't prove anything.
I really like Wednesday.
That's like the same kind of proof where, like, there was a car accident somewhere, and then Mr. Kretz was also near the car accident. Therefore, you did the car accident. It's your fault. You did it.
Right.
So wait, just by your location being near there, that means he did it? It's like it's associated, but it's not proof.
Let me put it this way. There is nothing more ridiculous about me saying that the Fiesta is proof of Tara being Stu's daughter than there is of Ghostface saying Christmas goose and Stu saying this place is like Christmas.
That is literally the same level of proof.
It is, except
right.
mine was funnier.
Yeah, yours was funnier.
And this, so we talked about the one last audio exhibit here before we go. This is very fitting because we talked about, you said before, I think when we first started doing this, that they are manipulating and trying to change the movies. I do have this here.
Interesting. He was like, I really didn't like that plot line. I said, me either. Thank you. And he was like, yeah, I really wanted Stu to actually be alive. And I said, oh my God, me too. And I quickly told him, I was like, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about the Stu Macher alive theory. And I said, you and Matt got to talk to Kevin and convince him that this is what the people want. The people want Stu back alive. And he said, I'm actually having dinner with Kevin tomorrow. And I said, you guys got to tell him, you got to convince him.
As it stands right now, for me, Stu Macher still lives. I'm still going to push it. I still believe in it. I think it's going to, what I will say is this. One, we need to get a new writer up in there. We do.
Yeah.
But we also need a director, in my opinion, who believes in basically what we have been talking about for so long to put this together. Because I don't think if you have at least one or the other, I don't think it's going to happen.
Here's our idea. Here's what we think happened. They may have cracked the case on how to explain Stu's absence, to explain Stu's fake death. I mean, we've done it here multiple times. So they could have cracked the case on that. They could have had a really great idea specifically involving Stu. I want to know if those two are Stuthers or not. I'm going to go back into their past. I want to know where they sleep. I want to know what they eat. I want to know what they had for breakfast.
That's the guy I think that invented the sheriff theory. He's talking about the Zuckerman sisters, obviously, right there. And at the beginning, she was talking to Skeet at a fan expo, and he was having dinner with Kevin Williamson. So
they act like it's some kind of like political campaign or something.
It is for them, and they feel like they can make it happen if they just want it badly enough.
And they don't care if it's a good story or not. They just want Stu to be alive.
Right. Ultimately, that has always been my biggest gripe with it. That's what I've always said to them. And actually, I don't think I turned it into an exhibit.
Like if Stu came back and it was a shit ass fucking movie, they wouldn't care. They'd lap it up anyway. All you guys are proving is that you're mindless Stu fans that will just eat up any slop they give you if it has Stu's face on it.
Pam made this point in one of her recent videos. She said, I think I recorded and I forgot to turn it into an exhibit. She said that the biggest contradiction between a person who thinks Stu is alive and a person that thinks Stu is dead is that they just don't believe he could survive the TV. Which again, that is not the argument. I've made this from the jump. Pam, if you're listening right now, go back to my original Scream video from November, where I said in it, I will never argue whether a character could survive injuries or not. This has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that it just doesn't make any sense. Him lurking in the shadows for 30 years makes no sense. It would be one of the dumbest things ever in the history.
Every movie has its own movie logic. Okay, even the Scream franchise has its own movie logic, and that includes stuff to have to do with the killers, the victims, the logic of how things exist in this universe. That said, it gets increasingly more unlikely as time goes on. If he had, let's say he died in the first movie and they brought him back in the second movie and they said he survived the TV, he had the scars on his face, whatever, we would all have to accept that that's real, right?
Right.
We would all just have to accept, okay, he came back. It's unrealistic, but it happened in the movies. So we have to accept that it's real. The more time goes on, the less feasible and possible that seems. It's like you're telling me he waited for over 30 years for what reason? Like, it doesn't at that point it doesn't make any sense. It's like,
can I make a point here?
It's less about the physicality of the TV at that point. It's more about why do you wait so long? Which is my argument for people who are arguing about Leslie Macher coming back. They're like, she's going to get revenge for her brother Stu. I'm like, why did she wait so long? Doesn't make any sense. Go on.
And we talked about this in the last one. Leslie Macher would have no need to get revenge against Sydney because it's Stu's own fucking fault and his fault that her son was murdered.
Right.
Started the whole thing. It's not Sydney. But so fuck, I got sidetracked there. You made a point. Shit. About the what you were just talking about, what were you just talking about? How it doesn't make sense.
The TV.
The TV.
Him waiting so long.
Yes, none of that. Oh, him in the shadows for 30 years.
Yeah.
So again, it's the same thing. They keep making this argument that, like, we talked about this before. When the end of the movie comes, that the killers are supposed to be killing Sydney, right? That's the end. The mask comes off. They tell their truth, or what they think is the truth in Stu's case, and then they go and kill everyone. So if Stu is the mastermind behind the scenes, he has to come out at the end of the movie because Sydney's going to get killed. He has to make his presence known, and he has to have them kill her. He can't run away. He can't open the gate for Jessica and then run off into the neighbor's yard when she has to get the job done. Right?
Exactly.
He wants her to know she's going to kill Sydney.
There's really only two questions actually, that I have for the Stuthers at this point. That's it. We can disregard everything else, toss it all out into the garbage. The two things that I want to ask, okay? One, was Stu helping out Jessica and Marco and what's his name? The first guy, Carl, the whole movie? Was he aware of their plan? If your answer is yes, why didn't he choose to come out at the end of the movie where that would have been, they're all but assured that they won over Sydney, right? At this point, that would have been the time for him to come out, correct? So the two questions are, was he aware and was he helping? Like an A and B type question. Jessica and Marco and all that. Was he there the whole time? If he was, and he was literally on the video, and let's take everything you say as true, why didn't he come out at the end? If he was truly alive, that would have been the time for him to come out, correct?
Well, that's the same question you could ask for Scream 5 and Scream 6.
No,
right?
no.
They say he's running the vault and he's helping people.
No. Not for 5 and 6, because they only hinted at Stu in those movies. They weren't making like actual story plot points based around Stu.
Well, I would make the argument that they didn't even really hint at him. I'm just saying from
They
there.
did. They had the Stu Macher house in Scream 5. They had the phone call with like Tara. It's like, it was Stu Macher who helped Billy. Like, you had all that.
Oh,
you had the sweater in Scream 6. I mean, the TV. We know all the little hints and little teases in those movies, but there's no plot that's centered around Stu. It's centered around Stu in Scream 7. Therefore, the question becomes infinitely more important to answer for the end of Scream 7. if he was helping the whole time, why didn't he come out?
It is more relevant.
No excuse for him not to come out.
Right. Yeah, it is more relevant for 7. I was only speaking from their perspective. The argument they make is it's the cult, right? They're saying, they actually say that all the killers in 5, 6, and 7 are in his cult, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So
fair
if
enough.
they are-
But Scream 7 is when that was the culmination of his plan, right?
Yeah.
Stu's plan, because that's why he was on the AI and doing all that in
Yes,
that movie,
you have
because
to
it
come
was
out.
meant to make you feel like this was his coming out party, right? Essentially, his coming out party in a sense. So therefore, he should have come out of the closet again at the end of this movie if he was alive, right? That would have been the time. I think most Stu fans would probably agree with me, correct?
You would think, but then they will say, well, no, because I asked him this once. I said, well, what happened? I was the Scream fanatic guy in the comments. I said, well, what happened? Isn't he supposed to come out? And I said, wait, did he intentionally not come out? Because he said, yes, he's intentionally hiding because he's not ready yet.
That's stupid.
He's not ready yet.
He wasn't ready in Scream 7. He'll never be fucking ready. This is like a guy who's not having sex with his wife yet because, it's not the right time yet. It's like, dude, you just can't pop a boner. I'm starting to like lose confidence in your ability to fuck at this point.
Hey, Honey Bunch.
Does anyone think that Stu can get it up?
Well, we know. Did I mention to you that
apparently he's got performance anxiety?
Did I tell you about the deleted scene in Scream? Did I show that on here with the script?
Which deleted scene?
There is a deleted scene, and you could actually see footage of it filmed. You know when they get done at the grocery store, how Dewey was driving Sidney and Tatum around in his Jeep? They go to the grocery store, and then the ghost faces walk in the halls of the grocery store. You remember this?
Dewey and Tatum?
In Scream, in the original Scream.
I don't recall.
Yeah, Dewey takes him into the town to get food for the party. He drives him in his police Jeep, and they go to the grocery store. So at the end of the grocery store, there is a scene where Sidney asks Tatum about like being intimate with Stu. And she makes a comment about how she has to think of Grant Goodeve from the 1970s show Charles in Charge, because apparently Stu ain't doing it for her, right? And in the scene where Sidney and Tatum are in Tatum's bedroom, you can actually see an image of Grant Goodeve on her wall in Tatum's bedroom, the guy from Charles in Charge.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she has to fantasize about another man because Stu can't get it up, which only further confirms that she was his beard, as was Becker, and that his enrage. Here's the thing: Stu's motive, it's one of two things: either just sexual repression, or he really wanted to go after Sidney because he was jealous of Sidney because she had Billy. It's what really one or the other. His true motivation and his hatred for Sidney. And this confirms more, that this guy.
Can you at all explain his common catchphrase that people love to utter in regards to this theory?
Which one?
I've always had a thing for you, Sid.
Well, first of all, that's an easy thing to explain because it's just Stu being Stu, just saying something fucking
deeper meaning to it. There's
no
linking to his gayness or anything.
It's just at the bare minimum, it's just his rage because again, she had his boy. I mean, if it means anything,
it's a weird thing to say, though. You have to admit.
Well, who are we talking about, though? We're talking about the fucking goofball who was.
I know he's a goofball, but
he's searching for
what it alludes. If I'm being objective here, okay, it alludes to like feelings that he had for Sidney that maybe were unrealized or something.
You can say that. I can see why someone would think that if you didn't know what was really going on. If you know all these other things.
Is there something that he said earlier in the movie that links to that phrase at all? Because I can't remember the whole movie.
No, No, look, when I see that, when I hear him say that, oh, is that a thing for you? I see a goofball who's bleeding out, who's near death, who is just looking for a fucking one-liner. I mean, that's pretty much what I see out of it. I don't take it any. There's nothing literal. There's no evidence in the film of him touching Sydney or doing anything where it shows affection for Sydney, that he's interested in her. There's nothing like that.
Right.
I would never take that as that. Again, I think that's
maybe. Here's an idea. Maybe it was meant to be like a pun, like in the script, and maybe he originally had like a knife or something in his hand when he said that, but they changed the blocking and the action in the scene, and
good
he
question.
says it, but it doesn't have any meaning now.
Is that even in the script? Because we know how much he was allowed to make shit up.
I'm not saying that that actually is in the script. What I'm saying is it's possible, maybe an early version of the script, he hadn't hit the knife in his hand still, and he was threatening her with it, and he said, "I always had a thing for you, Sid," like something like that.
He could have, but we do know from
I'm
their
curious because it's such a strange thing to say.
We know from confirmation that Kevin Williamson lets him do whatever he wants.
Right. That's so he might have chosen to do a bunch of random shit on set.
Right. So
say random things.
I read nothing into that.
Okay.
One thing I will say, we talked about, when you were talking about, the stupidity of Leslie Macher showing up, and then the stupidity of Stu hiding in the shadows for 30 years and then showing up. I will say this. Had they decided in Scream 5 to say somehow, because at this point, I said before, they could have still brought Stu back alive in Scream 5. That they could have, whether he was in prison or recently escaped from prison or whatever, they could have done something there. And had they made it where, let's say Amber, who now lived in Stu's house, let's say if she found something that, somehow proved, or she heard in town that Billy had a daughter, and that enraged Stu because Stu realized Billy had sold him out and was going to kill him, and Stu's real revenge was to kill Billy's daughter instead of Sydney, that might actually make sense. Right? If because he would have known Billy turned on him, that Billy was going to kill him, that he was his patsy. His revenge, the only revenge he could get against Billy would be to kill his daughter. That actually would have made sense.
Yeah, that would make some sense if there was something in there.
He could have come out on camera and said, "I loved your dad."
That would actually, you know what? I actually would have been happier with that being Scream 5 than what Scream 5 turned out to be.
It could have made sense. It could have made sense. Stu's only motive for getting revenge against someone would be to get revenge against Billy.
I wasn't crazy about the Richie character and all that stuff. It just felt like a boring retread of Scream 1, and
8 is enough. Yeah. I think I took that from that. Wait, who is on 8 is enough? The guy I brought up from the script. What was his name? Greg Goodeve. It said the brother of Charles. Or is he from? I don't know. It's in here somewhere. I don't know which one exactly, but some old sitcom. But anyway, yeah, Tatum needed help because Stu couldn't do it on his own.
Yeah.
Just more.
All right, are we done with this?
I think we are about done. Any closing remarks?
Stu is still dead, and he'll always be dead. Even in Scream 8, he will forever be dead. Rest in peace, Stu Macher.
Scammed you. See? They tricked your ass.
Exactly.
No, wait 1 second.
You guys are gonna keep falling for it. Wherever there's like memes of like fell for it again. That's you Stu.
Oh, fuck. I was gonna make a picture with all of those meme pictures with their faces on them, with the "Fell for it again" sticker on it. I was going to do it and I didn't do it.
Yeah, they fell for it again.
There are some other streams going on tonight, and this was the best one here.
This was the best one. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So we will I will end this stream here in a second. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next one, whatever we have planned.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys, for sticking with us. We had a pretty good turnout. There was like 15 to 20 people for a
Yeah, it was like 5 people here. Cool.
I saw 15 to 20, man, up here on the top. I think it went up to 20. I think it did. Oh, and Honey Bunch, I do know Predator. I do. She asked a question about
Predator. Everyone knows Predator.
Yeah. CIA got you.
I showed it to her. I showed her Predator.
You watched it recently.
Yeah.
That's why she brought it up. All right, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Later, y'all.